The following is brought to you by Upscale Roofing. For a free roof inspection, call 281-930-7368. Upscale Roofing. Our quality is through the roof.
Live from the Stephen Terry Pest Elimination Studio, this is the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast.
Smells like a gym bag.
It's strong, but you'll get used to it. Now, introducing the best damn podcast crew in the biz. Here's your host, Nick Stevenson.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time again. Whatever time of day it is, wherever you may be listening in the world, welcome to episode 61 of the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast. Once again, I am your gracious and humble host, Nick Stevenson. Naomi Richardson, the queen of podcasts, is in the building.
Yo, yo, yo.
Chris limped in the door today. What's up, buddy?
Hi.
Hi.
And of course, the bearded producer, my man Josh Beard,
What it
is
do?
on the ones and twos at the Upscale Roofing producer's desk. Welcome to another episode. We're so happy that you've joined us, that you're listening. Now that everybody's here, we can all high five about our 10K downloads that we reached.
Hey,
Here we go. Everybody.
I did.
Air five, Josh.
I did the high five, y'all, on the chat, and nobody high fived me back.
Oh, I
You're
didn't
a
see that.
liar. I'm
didn't
on the
see that.
chat.
No, on
Did you watch it live?
No, on the last episode.
Did you watch it live or
Yeah.
did you watch it after?
Yeah, no, I caught it live. Probably, I think I caught like the last 10 minutes of it live.
I didn't see the high five.
I would have emoji high fived you if I had seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, just putting it out there.
I missed it. But we are so thankful to everybody who's listened to the show and for supporting us. This is the first time I could talk about it while we're all together. So congratulations on that, guys. And we're going to keep it going. If you would like to continue to support the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast, there are a few ways you can do that. You can shop at the Spirit Swag store at spiritswagstore.com. That is your one-stop shop for all of the merch you need to rep your favorite podcast and style. And then if you look in the description of either the video you're watching or the podcast that you're listening to, you will find a link there for our tip jar. You can leave us anything from, what is it, Josh, 10 to 100?
We need like $3,000.
I think it's only 100 is the option.
Only 100?
Only
Yeah,
100
that might be it. That sounds like Russian propaganda to me.
Don't.
Yo, these boys bougie. Shoot, I was gonna say $3.
Yeah, hey, man.
Nah.
Whatever you want to donate to us, we will gladly accept. And also, we are still doing local sales of our cold brew, which a lot of people have taken advantage of that. It's a
Which
hot ticket item right
I
now.
really needed some the other day. Like, we need to have a fridge here, and we need to stock it so that I can just come by your house and just pick some up
That is
whenever I
a
want.
wonderful idea. That is a wonderful idea. That is in the works.
So good.
Okay, so yeah, those are the ways you can support the show, and like we said, anything you purchase or donate to us is going to go back to the show, so we can keep bringing you good content. So our topic for today's show is something that's obviously heavy on everyone's mind, heavy in the news. Obviously, there's a war going on in Ukraine. If you haven't heard, then you're under a rock, and it's pretty devastating what's happening to the citizens of Ukraine. It is inspiring to see the people who are fighting for the sovereignty of their country. It's even, you see some people in Russia who are trying to protest against this war. They're being thrown in jail, but they know the consequences and they're still trying to stand up for what's right.
I think there's
And,
been like 10 or 20,000 protesters thrown in Russian jail. I think
Yeah.
it's 10,000.
yeah, there's a lot of them. There's an American citizen being held captive in Russia right now for allegedly having THC vape oil. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on, but I think we all decided together that this was a conversation we should have. And the conversation today, I would kind of like to be a unifying conversation, hopefully, because there's a lot of implications and a lot of lessons that we can learn from what's happening. It feels really far away. It's on the other side of the world.
So was COVID.
Yeah. But
Boom.
the world can get small really quick. And
right.
the worst time to put your guard down would be right now. So I want to have that discussion. I'm glad you guys wanted to have it too. We felt like it was really important. And so after we get Naomi's headlines, that's exactly what we will do.
Headlines.
All right, y'all, before we get too heavy in today's discussion, more than a century after it sank off the coast of Antarctica, polar explorer Ernest Shackleton's ship HMS Endurance has been located, apparently intact and in good condition, reports CNN. Endurance departed from the UK in 1914 and reached Antarctica the following year. However, due to the extreme conditions, the ship got stuck amid thick, impenetrable ice in the Weddell Sea. The 28 men on board, including Shackleton himself, abandoned the Endurance and set up a rudimentary camp facilities on board ice floes that were floating northward. Although the expedition was a failure, the team's survival and eventual rescue months later without any loss of life was seen as a triumph over their tenacity and the incredible leadership skills of Shackleton. So the fact that this ship has now been discovered finally, and it is immaculate, y'all. If y'all have not seen the photos, it is just beautiful.
I saw a video on it.
It's
really
beautiful.
cool.
So very, very cool if you want to check that out. In Vanity Fair's April 2022 cover story published earlier today, the singer Grimes said she and Elon Musk welcomed their second child, who was born in December 2021 via a surrogate.
That excites Josh.
I'm a super fan of Elon Musk, and
AKA Ugly Tony Stark.
I like him. He is not ugly.
He's a beautiful Tony
I like
Stark.
him.
He's a beautiful
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
The two have a 22-month-old son. X-AI Archangel is how I'm told you're pronounced that, whom they refer to as X. The name of their second child is Exadark Sidereal, nicknamed Y, Grimes told the magazine. Grimes also revealed that she and Musk got back together after reportedly calling it quits late last year.
I was about to say, I thought they got divorced.
No, they
I
were,
could've
they were
sworn
never
they got-
married. They were just...
Well, I could have sworn they were split up. So when I
Yeah.
said that, like,
Love
wait a
conquers
minute.
all.
They were
Yeah.
just making beautiful children.
Hey man, and they can keep a secret like that. That baby was born in December. Shoot.
Boom.
A man driving a truck through a San Diego border crossing on Mexico was caught trying to illegally smuggle reptiles in the United States. State's U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents found 52 live reptiles tied up in small bags, which were concealed in the man's jacket, pants pockets, and groin area. 9 snakes
Nice.
and 43 horned lizards were seized. Some of the species are considered endangered, so that's not cool. And y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want snakes.
How much is an endangered snake going for these days?
I'm not putting
they-
any reptiles near my junk.
Yeah,
bro. Like,
no.
what the
I'm
fuck?
looking for, I'm looking for a new job, so.
Whatever that guy is getting paid, whatever your cut is, it's not worth it, bro.
No.
And you're in jail now.
Don't do it.
Like, is it
that.
better than drug dealing?
Maybe there's drugs inside the reptiles. Like, why would you bring reptiles here? Are they worth a lot of money?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, you can sell
For
I
like
mean,
for pets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
There's
could
some-
sell them to
Which
Mike
is just
Tyson and
sad.
shit. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Concerns over nuclear war and inflation following 2 years of a pandemic have Americans more stressed than ever. You think? According to a new report from the American Psychological Association, according to the results, 87% of those surveyed cited rising costs of everyday items, such as groceries and gas, as a significant source of stress. The same high percentage said their mental health was greatly affected by what has felt like a constant stream of crises without a break over the last 2 years. And 84% said the Russian invasion of Ukraine is terrifying to watch. I don't know about y'all, but that hits home to me. That 2 years of never-ending crisis, that is legitimate. Like,
There's gonna be a lot of therapy needed
I'm at
in
my
the
breaking
United States
point.
of America.
I always said, I mean, it's going to be more babies or more AA meetings.
I think I'm going to go to school, be a therapist, because I think that's going to be a popping job here pretty soon.
I think
And all
I
that-
think you're right.
All that being said, though, like it has been stressful, and you know, I live in a household that deals with anxiety on a daily basis, and it's a medical condition. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. There's the smallest thing, like spilling a drop of your tea on the floor, could cause like ultimate anxiety. I get that, but in the U.S., we still got to count our blessings, especially like yes, COVID was hard, paying gas prices. And I was really hoping to not have to talk too much about gas today because even
Oh
though
my God, $4. It's $4
Hey,
now.
anybody looking for a Ram 2500
I was
extended
about to
cab?
say,
It's
that's
for
gotta
sale.
suck.
Yes.
Hit me up.
Gas prices are high.
Like I was.
There's a
gonna
lot of other things going on in the world though, and I say we count our blessings that we're not having bombs dropped on our hospitals, on our elementary schools, and look, like I understand gas being high, it sucks, and there's a lot of reasons for gas being high, and I wish gasoline was not such a hot button topic in American life. Like if people responded to real crises like they respond to gas prices, like there'd be some solutions of a lot of things happening in this world, I think. But that's
On a lighter
for
note
a whole
of
nother
news.
conversation.
On a lighter note of news.
Are you going to tell us about Juicy?
No.
Oh, let's hear it.
I was like, he is obsessed with this story.
Y'all, I
He
tried
literally
to,
cheered about Juicy.
I
No,
tried
I did not.
to try to time it to
No.
the music. Okay, so
And you
I was
did perfect.
cut off.
You nailed it
That was
again.
really
You nailed
good.
it.
Good job,
You
man.
nailed
I'm
it
just
again.
going to bring up, because I know there's some of us in this room that
Who's
are fans.
Juicy?
Today, right
I'll
before
show you
our
Juicy.
show, the MLB and the MLBPA is now to an agreement, and we are starting on April 7th as our
And
opening
the
day.
Astros' new theme for the season is Bang That Can.
Let's do it.
I'm so excited for baseball.
It's really not. It's level up. But it's
Being that can.
so much better.
Oh,
You think we're gonna sign Correa?
No.
Yes. I think so.
I know
For
Brent-
essentially less amount of money and years.
I think not. But that's just an opinion.
I hope Correa comes back.
Alrighty. Let's get an ad from Steve and Terry Pest Elimination before we get into our main discussion about the high price of liberty. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your gracious and humble host, Nick Stevenson. Is your house haunted? No, not by ghosts and goblins. I'm talking about insects and rodents. It doesn't have to be Halloween for critters to make your house a spooky place to be. If you have these unwanted guests, you already know what I'm going to tell you. There's only one man to call, and that is Steve Terry at Steve and Terry Pest Elimination. Talk to anybody that's hired Steven, and they're going to tell you the same thing. The man gets the job done. Say goodbye to those unwanted visitors, because once you call Steve and Terry, they ain't coming back. Monthly mosquito treatments, fire ant treatment, flea treatment, DIY kits, and so much more. Don't waste your time with the guys who knock while you're trying to have dinner with your family, or the guys calling at the worst times of day. You get on the phone and you call 713-477-0047 and make sure you tell them that Nick from the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast sent you. If it's scary, call Steve and Terry. If it is scary, you guys give Steve and Terry a call, and he will take care of the job. Trust me, I know from experience. So
Can they send him over to Ukraine?
maybe he's a brave
Exterminate
dude.
those Russians.
He's a brave dude.
He is the Russian exterminator.
I love it.
So when opening up this conversation, I wanted to make sure that my point was concise and not all over the place, which sometimes I have a bad habit of doing. So I actually wrote.
No, not you.
Sometimes we tease.
There's so much shade on this show thrown toward me, and it's cool. I can handle it. It's good.
It's because we love you.
It's fine. I can handle the shade. Throw all the shade. It's fine. But no, I actually wrote a monologue. It's not very long. It's maybe 3 minutes. I just want to make sure I get this point out and keep it concise. And so I'm going to do that now. The revolution of the internet, more specifically high-speed internet, pushed us all into what became deemed as the information age. And what seemed like an instant, the world became smaller. Now, if you live out in the sticks of Dove Creek, Colorado, hundreds of miles away from a metropolis, you could get the Denver Post, the Los Angeles Times, or the Washington Post at the click of a mouse. You could chat or even conference someone on the other side of the world to learn what's happening there. No one could argue that information being more accessible to those seeking it was not a good thing. But what may have been overlooked is just how easy it would become to spread disinformation or lies. If history's taught us anything, it's that humankind will be determined to take something that's meant for good and turn it into a weapon of destruction. Today in 2022, it's never been more confusing time when it comes to information we receive. Largely, doubt has been cast by many people who don't trust the words of the government or the mainstream media, to the point that even what used to be considered universal, provable facts are met with skepticism. Now, let's be clear, skepticism, reasonable skepticism, should be met with anything that you are reading or hearing. Reasonable means that you take the time to approach wanting to know more and, excuse me, sorry about that. The reasonable level of skepticism that we should all have means that we take the time to approach wanting to know more and believing what we have seen and heard. This requires that we search for information with being unbiased in the information that we seek. Unreasonable skepticism comes in the form of not liking something you read or see and immediately seeking to disprove it by returning to the echo chamber of people and media that reaffirm the things that we want to hear, while completely rejecting any information that may ultimately prove to be accurate just because you don't like it. And the balance is fine. What we see today is that justifiably people are finding it just too damn hard to find the truth, wading through all the bullshit. So they either, one, believe the first thing that makes them feel good, or two, become indifferent and just stop giving a shit. What I believe is that this makes it dangerous, and it makes it easier for people to be manipulated by those who want us to believe that the institutions that we've come to rely on, democracy, a free republic, a free press, don't really work, or that they're so broken beyond repair that the whole system needs to just be burned to the ground. Simply by casting doubt on the things we once trusted has made it easier to manipulate those already susceptible because of their own grievances with this country. We all have grievances with this country. America is not perfect. It never has been. It never will be. No doubt that America's quest to spread democracy around the world is just as much about what it will gain as it is about the people that they are liberating. If they aren't able to prioritize the needs of U.S. citizens over their own, there's no reason to believe that they prioritize the needs of citizens of another country. However, in most cases, these countries do want freedom. So even though wanting to liberate the people in these countries like Iraq is more lip service, while the financial gain and the removal of threats to our country is the real goal, in a really twisted and kind of fucked up way, it's still a noble cause. No one has any illusions that America doesn't have some dirt on them. No more than we have illusions that when our kids are out of our sight, they're being perfect little angels. For the enemies of democracy, they will try to get us to not pay attention to the fact that these people want freedom, and they want us to believe that America is all corrupt and only spreading the message of freedom and democracy for their own gain at the detriment of the people that they would otherwise be oppressed. For those of us who live in America, as imperfect as it is, we know that democracy is always the better choice when the other option is being ruled or governed on the whims of one man. We do know that, don't we? Are we so far removed from having to fight for our freedom that we have begun to take it for granted? Have we forgotten that freedom comes with some compromises and a lot of sacrifice? Have we forgotten that freedom comes at a price much higher than a $4 gallon of gasoline? I think it's important that we understand who Putin is, how he came into power, and why it's so important that we not allow our democracy to fall just because it isn't perfect. So I want to talk about what Russia is teaching us and what the brave men and women of Ukraine are teaching us that we could use today and hopefully forever going forward. So that's the stage I'm setting. I know everybody has a different take on this. I felt like it would be really important to just go around the room real quick and just from the time you got the news that Ukraine was being surrounded by Russia to the time they invaded, everything that's happened since, just what's been your thought process? I'll start with you, Naomi.
My thought process, honestly, has just been like, I don't even know how else to explain it other than it's just completely surreal. Like, you feel like you're in a history book or watching a movie, and you feel like it's just so. I don't want to use far away because I understand that, but it just seems like the idea, the actions themselves are so far away. Like, it's just really hard to grasp the entire situation.
Yeah.
I mean, as a whole, I think it's just absolutely crazy. And the stories that are coming from, from all over the world, honestly, at this point, it's like you're trying to pick through everything and try to figure out like what's important. I'm not saying that that it's not important, but some of the information that people put out, it's just fluff.
Yeah.
And just trying to cut through all the fluff and figuring out what's going on, that's been difficult. But there's some things that are some really scary things that are happening over there that people think are far away, and it could be on our doorstep, your doorstep, in a matter of time, especially us. I mean, we're outside of Houston.
Mm-hmm. We live by a very prime target of our enemies.
Yeah.
And
I didn't want to say it out loud, so you said it.
yeah,
So.
we live by a very prime target of this country's enemies.
Yeah.
And if you've had any encounter with the level of security in some of these places, it might concern you. Um, but it's funny that you say it's far away because it does it feels far away, and there hasn't been a war fought on American soil probably since the Civil War.
Yeah.
And in Europe, it's been many, many years. But we live in a very interesting time because I can go on TikTok right now, and there's people TikToking from Ukraine.
Yes.
Like, and telling people what's happening in real time.
Yes, I've seen a lot of videos from like people's backyards
Yeah.
in Ukraine, and it makes it seem, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
There was one guy
it
who
hits
was,
home,
who was
man.
TikToking right when a missile hit the building that he was.
Oh yeah,
That he was in.
that was a journalist.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty insane stuff. Josh, you want to go? I'm just kind of going clockwise.
The thing I'll say, I'll start off lightly and then get into my thoughts. There's a post going around that's talking about us millennials are tired of living through all these crazy things. I think most of us are at that point now.
Yeah,
But I think at the end of the day, when this is all said and done, it's going to be the same thing where I can probably ask all three of y'all where y'all were at when 9/11 started or happened, and you can tell me exactly where you were.
Yep.
It sucks, and I don't think, just like I've been saying about the whole COVID thing, we're truly not going to know the ratifications of what's going to happen with this. Probably years, and then that's very real. It's not about what momentarily is happening. This is going to change everything.
yeah, for sure. And
And I think the way that other countries and entities are reacting to what's going on, that is going to change a lot of things moving forward. So it's not just the action, but everyone's reaction is equally going to change.
yeah,
It's going to change a
I
lot.
mean, regardless of what you think of it, our president went to go visit Venezuela. I don't know if he actually went or if they just had a phone call. But I mean, that's a
I think it's just
relationship.
a phone call.
Was it a phone call?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, but that's a relationship that's been broken for a long time.
Yeah, decades.
Yeah, and so, we could be witnessing a redrawing of the map of Europe. We could be witnessing a redrawing of allies and things of that. It seems like Russia is very, very isolated. Even Switzerland began imposing sanctions on them. They don't do that shit.
I was about to say, yeah, this
Yeah.
When
the Swiss
Switzerland
stay
gets
neutral.
involved,
Yeah, they don't do that. And I mean, it is a dangerous time. You brought up 9/11, and the thing about 9/11, it was devastating. A lot of lives were lost. I mean, I guess that's the closest thing you could say to an act of war happening
Here.
on American soil.
Yeah. Here in recent times.
And since the Civil War. I think what feels different about this is we knew ultimately that enemy was not a real danger to America. Russia's a whole nother ball game, bro. Like,
yeah.
Russia holds the most nuclear warheads of any country on the planet. And it really seems like the thing about it is even all the intelligence in the world, like nobody really knows what Putin's thinking. And that's probably the scariest part. Because if you watch his videos and you look at his temperament, he's already saber rattling about using nuclear weapons. It's a scary time. So I would say that's the difference. But like I said, the weird thing is that because we're in a social media age, I think it's going to be harder for Russia to keep the truth from getting out in the day and age that we live in, because people have cell phones, people can upload a video, and I know that Russia's even trying to like keep people off of Facebook and stuff, but it's a weird time. And
Yeah, I know they disabled Facebook and
yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Putin took over their own state television, like shut down some of that shit too.
yeah, it's
Yeah, and I know Anonymous has been hacking into Russian
I
television.
did read about that. That could be dangerous though, man, because Anonymous is not a
not
U.S.
one-
It's not a U.S. it's not a military organization,
Yeah, it's not just one person in the U.S. It's actually a group.
right?
And I
And
think-
they could be in other countries too.
Yeah.
I think what's going to make this one a little bit different too, kind of doing that comparison with 9/11 is, like you just mentioned, we as Americans are able to see what everybody's experiencing over there in live.
I think-
in live feed. I think that's the first time that we've ever really been there as it's going on. Like we've seen videos come out, we've seen stuff like that with past things that have gone on, But like you just said, I can open up my TikTok app right now, and I guarantee you there's a live feed of someone sitting in a bunker watching the sky, watching
Yeah.
random things fly over their house. So to even say that you're not even involved with it, you are, because
Yeah, for sure.
we're all kind of there with them, whether we like it or not.
Con, I know you're feeling groggy. But you did a lot of. I know you did a lot of. You've been paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, I've been
Not just for this episode, but just
Yeah,
to
no,
stay
I've
up on
been-
what's going on. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on
I've been
everything.
following this since it started. I feel like we take everything we have over here for granted. And Josh, you mentioned 9/11. I mean, that's nothing compared to what Ukrainians are going through right now. I mean, that was just 2 buildings and 3 buildings and then an airplane in the middle of a field somewhere, you know, and this is like their entire country being invaded.
Yeah.
The people who keep bringing up World War III as a joke, it's
very real.
You're not going to be laughing.
it's not a joke. There's a huge possibility that, you know, there it could be a actual nuclear war. And what I really want those people who are like, oh yeah, send me over there and I'll fight, yada yada yada. Shut the fuck up. You're not going to do a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these people who are like, oh, I'm just going to pack my bag and go in there. Like you ain't got the fucking balls. Like
Not
about,
only
about
that-
1% of the people who say that have the nuts to do it, but.
Not only that, and look, one of the things we're going to get into is we're extremely politically divided in this country. And so there's a lot of people pointing the finger at Biden like, oh, he's mishandling this. The fact of the matter is there's not a way to handle this. Like, this is not something that, as a president, you have strategic things that you do, and that's what they're doing, sanctions and all of this stuff. But
You do everything you can possibly do.
and you do
Before you
everything you
have
can
to-
possibly do not to have to fire a weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is what people don't understand. They're like, oh, we should just go over there and nuke the shit out of
I've seen the same
fucking
thing.
Russia
It's just
or
it's a very fluid
like-
situation, and with a lot of fluidity, you have to stay on your toes. There is not going to be a plan. A plan takes time to execute, to orchestrate everything. But with such a fluid thing like this, you know, you've just
Yeah.
got to
And President-
keep rolling. And I mean,
Yeah,
that's hard.
The people who keep shouting, just, you know, send the U.S. over. Like the moment the U.S. steps
We're screwed.
1 foot into Russia or into Ukraine,
Yeah.
a lot of people are going to
Yeah.
die.
we're done.
So the thing is, so by Putin doing this and you know, invading Ukraine, I feel like he is straight up emboldening the other countries that are on the brink of warfare. We're talking China, Taiwan, North Korea. These are countries that are they're always just on the brink of like, come at me, bro.
Here's
know?
here's what you hope. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of scary. You
That
brought
is
up
scary.
You brought up China, and I'm glad you mentioned that because here's what you hope. You hope China sees that. Now, keep in mind, this is the United States assessment, or this is really the world's assessment of what's going on. I know that Vladimir Putin is going to tell a different story, but that invasion is not going well as they hoped it did. And the fact of the matter is since the day it started, it was a guarantee that Ukraine could not win, and that's the unfortunate part. And it was also a guarantee that nobody in the world was going to do anything about it. We can send them weapons, like, hey, fight a good fight. At the end of the day, and it's not that Russia's going to win that war, because that's an unwinnable war. And I don't really think that's the war they're trying to fight. We'll get into that later. That's not the war they're trying to win. But you hope that China sees, hey, man, this isn't going well for Russia. The whole world hates them now. All these sanctions are going on.
China's not working.
Maybe we shouldn't go fuck with Taiwan. That's what you hope.
Yeah,
But
if China goes to war, it's going to be a technology thing.
yeah,
It's
and I
gonna
think
be
China is
cyber
much more
hacking.
prepared than Vladimir Putin, and they have a better military. They have
a lot more money. than
everything.
Putin
Yeah,
does.
more
And
money.
Reading up on the sanctions that have been put into place here recently with the oil and just everyday things. It's all not all, but many designer labels are closing stores temporarily. IKEA, they're not shipping stuff out, and they've got like dozens of stores and many of employees over there. It's Levi's, they're not doing stuff over there. It's a lot of different companies that are just cutting off ties, but they were saying in this article I was reading that by doing so, those companies are feeding into exactly what Putin has been feeding the Russian citizens for decades, that the West is not going to come in, they're not going to save you, they're just going to cut you off, they don't care about you, and that when that happens, that you're setting the scene for a bad situation.
Yeah.
So that's
And you've got
that's scary
Russians.
right there.
You do have Russians who are buying into that. I think there's a lot of Russians also seeing
I
through
think it's-
Putin's bullshit.
I think it's really hard to tell which Russians are actually buying into or not because
Yeah.
because
And they're
you
scared too.
can't. Yeah, you,
Of course.
you're not allowed. Like Putin, it's supposed to be like a democratic country, but Putin wants it to go back to the USSR, which is hence why I believe that he's invading Ukraine again. A lot of their citizens are flat out too scared to say anything.
Yes.
So they're always going to
Yeah.
come out and say, "I'm pro Putin."
Yeah.
Whatever he's
Yeah.
doing, I
Yeah, if-
think he's right. And the ones who speak out against him end up in jail.
Or dead.
Or dead.
Or dead.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the ultimate thing. Just like everything else in the other countries over there, you can't come out as you're gay or you can't come out like that because you have the fear of being killed, and usually it's a public display.
Yeah.
So they have every reason
So yeah.
to protect their lives. Like it's just and that's and I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people are saying, you know, just go wipe Russia off the map. What people don't understand as well is there is people there that don't agree with what's going on, and unfortunately they're stuck in a situation to where they live in a country where their president
I
is
bet
doing
you if
something
you
they don't agree with.
I bet you if you could ask them with no fear of repercussion, probably more Russians than not would be against this war.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
the latest poll that I saw was that what is reported. So keep in mind what's actually reported could be very different than actual numbers.
Yeah.
Is that almost 60% of Russian citizens support the war, as opposed to about 28% that are opposed, and the others are probably too terrified to answer.
Right. Well, you also there's probably a good deal of Russians who have bought into the propaganda that Putin has fed them, that he's
yes.
going over there to liberate the Ukrainians.
Yep.
And if you I always say, don't pay attention to what people say, pay attention to what they do. Do the Ukrainians look like people who want to be liberated from Vladimir Putin right now?
Not if they're fighting
Because they're
against
sure
them.
putting up a fucking fight for him to not come in there.
Yeah.
So Russians should be able to see that. The problem is that he has control of their media.
Yeah. Exactly.
So they can't see. What's on
Ukraine-
their TV is that the Russian soldiers are helping the
Neo-Nazis.
no.
Oh, 'cause
the
that's
Russian
what's going on.
soldiers are helping the refugees. God, I just had a complete blank. They're helping the refugees get to safety, and like that's what they're showing on Russia's state television. Like I've seen videos of it.
course,
They're telling
yeah.
a whole different story
Yeah.
than what the rest of the world is telling.
Yeah.
And that could be a big reason why Russia's supporting the war if it really is 60% of the people, because they don't know what's really fucking happening.
Yeah. So this is an excerpt from the New York Times. It says, in Russia, the country's propaganda machine is busy churning out a deluge of misinformation and aimed at its own citizens. The narrative disseminated online through state-run and unofficial channels has helped create an alternative reality where the invasion is justified and Ukrainians are to blame for violence. It's just what they are being cut off from the rest of the world. Everything that the world is doing, Russia doesn't even know about. The citizens don't even know about. And there may be some trickling of information coming in, you know, but that's fake news, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what they're being told.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've done a pretty good job of shielding off them from getting any information from the outside. If they are
Absolutely.
getting it from the outside, they're probably doing it at the risk of maybe talking on the phone or on the internet to people who aren't there. I mean, there's a lot of Russian and Ukrainians who live here in the United States. And Ukraine actually set up this hotline where Russian people could call in to get information about Russian soldiers, whether they had lived or died, because Russia's not even reporting their military deaths accurately.
Yeah,
They're-
no, and that's not surprising.
These families have no idea what's going on. There's been multiple. The Ukrainians took a couple of POWs. They had no idea why they were even in Ukraine.
Yeah. A lot of
They
the,
interviewed him like they had no idea why they were even there.
A lot of the soldiers have came out and said, like at the beginning of the invasion, a lot of the soldiers came out and said, Russian soldiers come out and said, like, we thought we were doing a drill, and the next thing we know, we're told to march
wow.
into Ukraine.
March into Ukraine.
Wow.
And we're like, we didn't know we were here to start a war.
So like literally everybody was blindsided except for Putin. And probably his, you know,
Yeah.
closest advisors.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I feel like that is the reason they're gonna take as much territory as they want until they run out of tanks and shit. Like they're gonna be able to take Ukraine. Eventually they'll probably take Kiev. I hope that Vladimir Zelensky makes it out alive. But they just don't have what it takes to keep Russia from taking over Ukraine. If Putin has the balls to step into Poland or any of the other NATO countries, which you hope not. I have no idea what he's thinking. I know he doesn't really believe he's going to win this war, because even if he takes the land, he's not going to get the people. The people will fight him tooth and nail until he kills every single one of them, which he can't do. There's too many of them. At least you hope.
No, you can. That's how every communist country is started. Is that they kill off,
or they scare the other people into submission.
I mean, that's how that's how the USSR originally started.
Yeah. I mean, these things that these ideals that people think are so far off, I really don't think are that far away. And
yeah, that's what I want to talk
being
about.
Told in the history books, World War II, it all happens like not just a little thing here, a little thing there, and then all of a sudden it's boom, and the citizens are blindsided. The people fighting with the invaders, they're blindsided, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, whose side am I on here, and what the fuck is happening? And that's what's so scary. They're saying some of the most disturbing images from the war have come from a port city in the southeastern coast of Ukraine. Shelling battered the region, killing several civilians who were trying to flee the area during what was supposed to be a ceasefire. But the Russians got a different explanation online. Ukrainians had fired on Russian forces during the ceasefire, and neo-Nazis were hiding behind civilians as a human shield, according to the Russian state news website TASS.
Yeah.
So they don't even know.
I think it's
what's
important
happening.
that we bring out that Vladimir Zelensky is actually Jewish.
Yeah.
So,
And that whole story is crazy in itself.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's a movie star,
movie
comedian.
star, yeah.
Apparently, I don't know what movie
He's
it
there.
was.
He's there. Donald Trump. Like he had no
He-
business becoming president.
He's there, Donald Trump, before Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And that's I find that I don't find it funny. It's intriguing that, and I may go on a limb and say this, but there was groups of people here when Trump won presidency and thought that was the stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And
I was one of them.
no,
Yeah.
but when this gentleman does the exact same thing, he's held to a different standard.
Well, he also.
But on a,
That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother
I
episode.
didn't even finish.
yeah.
But the difference is if you aren't following this gentleman, because if you don't know, I am a fan. He is out with a bulletproof vest on with his guys, going on in the field and doing what probably none of our presidents would even
No,
consider
not at all.
doing.
Not at all.
Not
And
even.
if you think that any of them would, if you're like, oh no, Trump, please. Trump even said like, yo, it's real easy to talk like you're brave until you're faced with the fucking fire. Like,
yeah.
So this
in the
actor
United States-
comedian, he's walking the walk, huh?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Well,
Well,
he's-
that's
he's
what you do.
He also doesn't have the military that the United States has to back them up, or the Secret Service. Like, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not
you
saying
kinda go out
I'm
there
not
and act
saying
like
our
your nuts are huge.
I'm not saying our presidents are cowards for not doing what he's doing. Like, our presidents have the luxury of not having to do that. But it is very, very, very admirable, and he's a hero. And I don't know if he's gonna live to tell the story, dude. Like, I honestly don't. I'm kind of surprised he's alive today. Like, I'm surprised they have not taken Kiev yet.
There's been 3 assassination attempts on him.
Yeah.
All 3 obviously failed.
And so there's so many layers to this. We could get in the dichotomy of how Zelensky became president and that whole thing that happened in 2014 where he replaced
What's that?
Basically a Russian puppet.
Yeah.
Polinsky, I think was his name.
There's
was.
a really good documentary called, I think it's called Winter War.
Mm-hmm.
Which goes over all of how Ukraine won its independence from basically a Russian puppet.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot.
Who the Russian puppet president? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're
I'll let
good.
you get back. He's actually in you. Like he's a month ago, he was on trial for treason. But he's come back to the country and he's got a gun. He's got a vest. Like he's fighting with them. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's just trying to save face." But I mean, he's there and he's fighting against the Russians. At least that's what he's saying outwardly.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's an implant. I don't know.
So-
But he appears to be fighting for Ukraine. But yeah, go ahead.
Also, originally, what was said when Putin invaded Ukraine, there's two, not countries, but it's a Russian separatist group in Ukraine, and they're on eastern Ukraine. What he originally said was that he is just gonna take those two regions back, and then that's all he wants. Well, he fucking. Which
Yeah, he's-
everybody called bullshit. Everybody knew he was going to try to take over all of Ukraine.
And
But
like for those, I mean, the United States had the intelligence to know they were predicting what was going to happen, and they turned out to be right.
yeah,
Even
they were
when some-
definitely right.
Even
yeah.
when some people were like, "Oh, that's bullshit. They're never going to. Putin will never invade," and then they had to eat that crow when it happened. But what I wanted to talk about, like, if you guys look up the history of Ukraine and how it got its independence, and in 2014, the whole issue with replacing Polinsky with Volinsky, that's really
So hard.
confusing.
A lot of names are Zizgis.
Right. I mean, Polinsky is also a Vladimir. There's like 700 Vladimirs over there. So it's like John over here or something. But
Also, like that show, it goes to show you like the power of protest is amazing when you get a whole country united, because that's
Yeah.
how they did it. There wasn't like a real war.
yeah,
But it was literally just protest, and yeah, a lot of citizens got shot and died.
yeah, that's the
but
price of liberty. That's what
that-
we're talking about.
That's how Ukraine originally. That's how they won their independence. Without an army, it was just straight up citizens saying, "Nah, fuck this." Got tired of it and protested their balls off, and they
Yeah.
won their own country.
Yeah, for sure. And now somebody's trying to take that shit from them. So they're fighting for it. So the one thing I wanted to do, because a lot of people are confused, like, before this happened, I think they have plenty of reason to hate Putin now. If you think about the fact that the Russians
what-
bombed a children's hospital yesterday
You know what was crazy? How
and
like
a maternity ward.
That's how a lot of people. I didn't mean to cut you off, but how a lot of people like were pro Putin
Yes.
before all. Like even me, like I was like, I don't really have a huge problem with Putin. I'm like, he's a little fucking crazy and kills journalists and shit.
Right.
But yeah, he
fucking
ain't that
rat.
he ain't that bad of a guy, right? But I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
No, I
But-
think
Well, when you
he
start
is-
doing the research on how he became into power
I
and
think he is
everything that he has
very
done.
well versed on manipulation and psychology.
Oh, yeah.
and scare tactics. I mean, all of the above.
He's a former KB.
I was about to say
KGB agent.
he was
KGB.
in KGB for
KGB, yeah.
16 years
Mm-hmm.
as a foreign intelligence agent.
And
so
one of the biggest things that they teach me, Nick, we just talked about this earlier, they are literally groomed to hate the U.S.
Yeah.
Like that is anything
Well,
necessary
yeah.
to wipe them out. That's what they're trained to do.
Yeah. So Vladimir Putin became president in 2000. So
like,
he's
it was like 99 or 2000.
99,
2000.
I was about to
2000.
He was a
say-
prime minister first, I believe.
Yeah, he was the prime minister for Boris Yeltsin, Boris Yeltsin was the first president of Russia who was really wanting them to embrace democracy, embrace like
And
they
Putin
wanted them to look like the West.
Yeah, he was pissed.
Right, but Putin was playing this strategically though, and he said the right things and he did the right things and he got close to Boris Yeltsin. Now, Boris Yeltsin, if you guys, another thing you can research about Russia is pretty much their whole country is run by like the mob. There's so much corruption in Russia, it's crazy. Like, there's a reason that, I mean, Vladimir Putin probably has billions of dollars, and all of his rich oligarchs probably have billions of dollars. And Russia has one of the worst economies in the world. Like, Russians are poor as shit.
On paper, he says he makes $180,000 a year.
Right.
He literally came, but he owns like a 20-bedroom mansion somewhere in Russia. I've seen a
Right,
picture.
which
of
he
it.
claims is not his,
that
though.
dollars or rubles.
Yeah, no, he claims it's
Rubles.
not his. I mean, all him and his oligarchs, they have money hidden all over the country. And that's, look, man, we'll get to that in a second, because there's corruption everywhere. I'm not going to pretend like Russia is the only corrupt country on the planet, but like Russia is one of the only countries where like it's corrupt. They know it's corrupt, and it's just widely accepted. Like whatever.
Yeah, probably because they're corrupt now. Historically, is not as bad as the corruption that they had before until like the past couple weeks. And
yeah, and then so Boris Yeltsin was in the middle of his own scandal, and he decided it's time to step down, and he handpicked Vladimir Putin, who was his prime minister at the time, to become the president of Russia. And so that was in 99, 2000.
I think it was 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin, other than for one term, because the way you can be president for more than 2 terms in Russia. You just have to leave office for at least 1 term, and then you can come back. So you can be president pretty much as long as you want to. Like, he's gonna have to be elected again in 2024. Which, if you've done any research on Russian elections, he'll win.
Yep.
He's going to win, and he's made it to where it's a facade of democracy. But all the shit that, with all due respect, all the shit that Donald Trump said was happening with our election in 2020, like, it's actually happened in Russia, and like, it's been proven, it's been seen. They stuffed ballot boxes.
Basically,
they were
you can't
doing
say shit or you're dead.
The government was letting people fill out ballots with erasable ink, and so like they caught them. Like, it's a whole. Vladimir Putin has managed to be president of Russia for damn near 2 decades because of his corruption. And for those who've gotten close to him, they know that him being ex-KGB, him being a part of the former Soviet Union, him literally crying when the Berlin Wall came down, like, in order to maintain his position, he's had to pretend that he's okay with democracy. But if you do any research and they interview people who are close to him, he has always hated the idea of democracy and always wanted to return Russia to its former glory of the Soviet Union. And so what he's done is we brought it up, he's killed journalists, he's killed political opponents. And once again, he's kept himself rich while the majority of his country is really poor. I mean, they're really good, because downtown Moscow, you've got all the buildings with the golden domes. Like, it's a really good front. But Russia has one of the worst economies in the world. Their infrastructure is not very good. They make their money with oil.
I heard they had a lot of their military equipment is just shutting down and
Yeah,
just being
I kinda
left to
thought
rot
that-
in fields.
Yeah.
Like, I hear
Yeah.
they have a lot of tanks that are just decommissioned because they're just.
I mean,
done.
we all thought that they had like these superpower tanks and shit like that, but it turns out it's really not.
You saw tanks getting drug off by tractors and shit.
That is my favorite part of what has been going on so far. And you know what they're doing? They're putting these fucking tanks up for sale. And Zelensky was like, if you get a Russian tank, and sell it on eBay, I will not charge you taxes for it. So these guys, they're literally, somebody pulled it up. I forgot where I saw it, but yeah, there's a fucking Russian tank that was captured by a farmer.
All right, well,
Nice.
For sale.
The fuel consumption on a
looking that up
tank
right now.
cannot be that much more than what I'm driving right now. So, you know what? I'm going to go for that.
I'm gonna show up to work in a Russian
Man,
tank.
I'm going to
Oh,
destroy
man.
traffic. This is, no. Let's do it.
Move, bitch.
So-
Get out the way.
Can we get a podcast tank? Let's
Oh,
do
that
absolutely.
would be cool.
I have
Yeah.
always wanted a tank in
That
my
would be
front
cool.
yard.
That would be cool.
It is an ultimate goal of mine.
So, but yes, that just goes to show that Russia is really good at putting on this facade. But the things that they do have going for them is they have a lot of oil, even though apparently their plants are like very, very not technologically, like, it's very old technology in their plants.
Well, I mean, they
so they have to
cover-
get a lot of help from other countries to refine all their
Yeah.
shit.
Well, they cover like how much percentage of all the land area on Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, Russia is massive. You've
Right.
got
Also,
all the
keep in mind-
climates there.
Russia is like 20 miles from the United States.
Oh yeah, we're just a Bering Sea straight
Yeah.
away from Russia.
You can like literally see Russia from the U.S.
That's what Sarah.
Yeah.
That's what Sarah
Yeah.
Palin said, at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Haven't heard that name in a while.
No,
Right?
but so the crazy thing about it is for people to be like, well, how come? Why do we have to not like Putin? Putin is literally what he stands for is everything that America is supposed to be about, like freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom to bear arms. Like, he's against anything that America stands for.
Any kinds of liberties.
Right. And yes, he's really far away. I get that. But the United States, and I said this in my monologue, for the most part, we have promoted democracy all over the world. And I think Vladimir Putin sees that Ukraine was a very westernized country with a charismatic leader. The people loved him. They had freedom. They had elections that weren't corrupt. Like, I think he saw that as a threat to his view of what Russia was going to be. I think he saw these regime change wars that the United States have been involved in. Places like Iraq, places like Afghanistan, which did not go well. We all know about that.
20-year war.
And yeah, and it's still the same as it was when we got there, maybe worse.
Yeah.
But I think he sees that as a threat. And what I think, and I watched the documentary, we talk about fake news and stuff. I'm one of those people that PBS is a very trusted, PBS Frontline is a very accredited and trusted journalistic. They make documentaries. They also, PBS used to have their own news channel, and they're respected as actual journalists. And they're not, what they have going for them is they're not extremely biased. They tell the facts as best as they can. And there's not a whole lot there's no opinion news like we have on a lot of these other channels. So they did a documentary about Vladimir Putin and how he came to power and his thought process about a lot of things. And our intelligence agencies for the United States have been telling us for years now that Russia is fighting a different kind of warfare now, different than what they're fighting in Ukraine. With us,
It's like a Cold War 2.0, basically.
right? It's hacking, it's misinformation on the internet.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very tactical without firing a weapon.
Which all that became prevalent during the Clinton-Trump election.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, slightly before it, but that's when
was-
it really came to light. Like
Yeah,
they were,
there was a
they
lot
had
of-
been, they had been infiltrating with misinformation on social media, with hacking into different systems before that. But that's when it really came to light.
yeah.
And you talk about just so people know that is a Frontline documentary. It is on YouTube. It is called Putin's Revenge. It's a 2-part series. If you haven't watched it, I highly suggest it. I just
it's a good
rewatched
one.
it just right before we started.
Yeah.
And there was things that I learned that I had no idea.
Yeah. And they recently
even a
made a new
thing.
one called Putin's Way.
Maybe we
which
can
was-
put those links down in the spirit.
Yeah,
Snippet
for sure. Because what they were doing is they're trying to get people to because there's a lot of people in the United States who before this didn't understand, why am I supposed to hate Putin? Well, there's a reason, because he represents a threat to everything that America is supposed to stand for. And what I wanted to get into is because I told you guys, I know that Putin doesn't think he can win the war in Ukraine. He may win the territory, but he's not going to win the people. And I honestly don't think that's the war that he's trying to win. I think the war he's trying to win is to have the West fall apart, namely the United States, but also relationships with Europe, the EU. He wants them to fall apart from the inside out.
And I think that's what I see happening. I feel like it's very realistic. I feel like it's very under the radar. And I feel like no one is going to see the worst of it until it's already done. Like,
It's working.
Yes.
It's working.
Yes.
A lot of we did an episode about QAnon. A lot of the information
Oh, it
and
was
the basis.
a little half-assed episode on QAnon, but we don't have to talk about that.
You brought it up. He didn't
Karen.
even say anything about
No,
it.
but a lot of the stuff that QAnon, the propaganda of QAnon, was coming from Russia. Russia is the one who hacked the WikiLeaks emails that led to the QAnon movement. They're the ones who broke into the DNC. They're the ones who, look, there was an agenda against the Clintons. Now, I know that people in America, a lot of people in America hate the Clintons. And what I believe, I'll just say this shortly, like, if you have a problem with the Clintons, that's cool. That's your right as an American. The Clintons are citizens of the United States, and in this country, when we have a grievance with someone, we have the right to tell them. We have the right to debate them. We even have the right to prosecute them if we can prove that they did something wrong. What we should not do is side with autocratic dictators. Like, the way I see it is, you have a family.
Dictators.
Right. You have a family. You probably got some people in your family that do some shit that pisses you off. You don't like them. They probably got some family members that you might even be embarrassed of. But if somebody else outside your family comes and talks some shit, you be like, hold the fuck up. We might be crazy, but this is my family.
I'm the only one that's allowed to talk shit about them, okay?
Right.
So you're
And
going
that's
to
how
talk about them, then we're going to have some beef.
Absolutely. That is how I feel about America. Look, we got problems here, and we got beef, and right now it is more divided than ever. But to me, you think I'm going to side with Vladimir Putin because he's trying to attack the Clintons? Like, if you're sitting here and you're rooting and doing "Let's Go Brandon" and cheering for Putin, like, there's a problem fundamentally, and maybe it's because you don't know better, maybe it's because you don't want to know better, and that, I think, is a really big problem.
Yeah.
And
Hashtag don't go rooting for Putin.
So
Go ahead.
Top of my head, y'all.
you're saying that, and I may jump in the gun on this, just my thoughts, but I really hope as Americans that this changes the way we need to look at one another regardless.
Hopefully. In the past, it would have.
You just said it the
You
best.
say that, but I literally have zero faith in Americans.
You know,
I am.
I do, but at the same
Closely
time, I'm
there.
hoping
Zero fucking faith in us.
I'm hoping there is that.
Honestly, if there was another 9/11, I do not. Sorry, Josh.
No, I'll say this. I wish that we would go back as America the day after 9/11.
Yes.
September 12th.
A lot of Americans say that, yeah.
I can't speak anymore.
Aw.
No, I do not
No.
believe another 9/11 will help America.
And that's
Sorry.
the thing. I think that this has been a strategy, and I don't know how much I wanted to get into this because there's a certain faction of our country that has been very loud praise givers of Vladimir Putin before the invasion. And even after the invasion, there are a lot of people who are looking down, talking down about the president of our United States and lifting up their voice to give praise to Putin. Now, what I will give Putin this, number 45, our president, number 45, called Vladimir Putin a genius. And he may be a genius when it comes to being evil. But I'm not going to sit here. I have a lot of problems with Joe Biden. A lot of problems with Joe Biden. But he is the president of the United States of America, which is the country that I was born in. It is the country that I believe in more than any other country in the world, even when we are shitty and have fucked up shit going on. I believe in this country more than I believe in any other country in the world. And there's no way in hell I'm going to go and try to make excuses for or root for an autocratic dictator who, once again, bombed a children's hospital yesterday. He's poisoned his own people, members of his own cabinet. Like, this dude is not a good dude. And somehow, some way, we've learned to hate one another so much in this country based on opinions, based on differing opinions. I'm going to say that again. They're just opinions. Like, at the end of the day, every person in this country, when you strip away everything, we want the same thing. We want to be able to make a decent living. We want to raise our kids. We want to have our families be happy and well and taken care of. Like, that's what we all want to do. We just all have different ideas of how to make that happen. All the culture wars that are going on right now, I need people to understand that Russian propaganda started that shit. The culture wars about LGBTQ communities. The culture wars about critical race theory. The culture wars about all the bullshit, stupid shit that we're at each other's throats about that doesn't even really fucking matter at the end of the day. That has nothing to do with our everyday lives. Most of that shit started from Russian propaganda because they are trying to rip us apart from inside. Because they couldn't, there's no way in hell Russia could come up here with their military and defeat the United States of America. They couldn't do it. It's not possible.
It's a mind
Not to
game for
mention, we all got fucking guns. Like, everybody in this, like, come on, bro. Like, listen,
Red
if there's
Dawn was a really good movie.
If you're gonna invade Texas first,
if there is
we dare
any
you.
if there is any better demonstration of why the Second Amendment is as important as it is, look at what's happening in Ukraine. I guarantee you, if somebody rolled up on us, the government wouldn't have to give us guns. Like, we already got them, bro. It's cool.
You want to hear the devil's advocate to that?
What's that?
Okay. Kind of a little bit getting off topic, but you know, the United States armed Afghanistan, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then they used our own guns to kill us.
yeah.
And we're giving Ukraine American guns. So
That's-
what?
You
What
think
if,
Ukraine's gonna come back and kill
what,
us?
what? Maybe. I don't
That
know.
is that is
we
that
didn't
has
think
happened,
Afghanistan was going to do it to fight the Russians.
That has historically
almost the same
happened
scenario.
in wars since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Like, that's politics. That's war. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and I'm
and
not. It's certainly not right.
If you want to be the big dog, you got to hold the biggest stick, and you got to put down your biggest threat at the time. And so the biggest threat at the time was not Afghanistan. So sure, take all our guns. I mean, let's keep it real. This is getting a little bit off topic, but the United States helped create organizations like ISIS. Like, let's keep it real.
Yeah, we did.
The United States did. Not one president, not one politician. Like, the United States. When we win, we win together. When we lose together. And that is the shit that is driving me nuts. Because Russia flying under the radar, it's not Biden's fault. It's not Trump's fault. It's not Obama's fault. It's not George Bush's fault. It's not Clinton's fault. It's all of their faults. Like, what's crazy about this is in 2008, when Mitt Romney ran against Obama, in a debate, they were both asked who poses the biggest threat to the United States. And Mitt Romney said Russia. And he actually became a meme because he said Russia, because Obama's response was, "Hey, the 1980s called and they want their foreign policy back." And everybody was like, "Oh shit, like got him," you know?
Savage.
Right? And he was absolutely fucking right. Like, we were so worried about the scary brown people living in caves in the desert.
Yeah.
We were not paying attention this entire time to what the biggest threat to this country was, which was Russia and China. And right now, China's just sitting back and waiting.
China is fucking waiting.
They're sitting back and waiting. All they
Yeah.
need is the smallest crack
So,
in the armor.
all
They're
of-
just waiting.
yeah.
China's already doing it.
All of the
China's-
sanctions that the United States and other mostly European nations have put on Russia, all of that, like, Russians are like, all right, well,
We still got China,
it
so fuck
sucks.
you.
Like, all of the McDonald's clothes, like shit like that. They're like, oh, that sucks. I can't get my Big
Didn't
Mac
Russia start
today.
selling their oil to China?
But
Like,
they're
all
going to
their
start
shit now?
going through China now.
Russia and China are already
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically allies.
China,
so
I mean, we all know, can basically recreate and copy about anything. You know, they're not very original in their ideals, but they can copy whatever
what
you
hope,
want them to.
What you hope is their tanks are like the Wish version of tanks.
Well, hello, it's Wish. Yes.
You order it.
It's going to be this big when you get it. You Russians better check those dimensions, dog, before you start doing that shit.
I want a real
we'll
tank,
have,
yo.
We'll have the real tanks. Russia will have the
That's
Wish
going to be
tanks.
inflatable, too, so watch out.
I mean, but you know that's so. Yeah, America is doing its part, and or not its part. I've got that's a whole separate conversation. But America is doing these sanctions. The European unions are doing these sanctions, and then they're just like, okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll
This
just
is-
do this instead. It's not really doing that much, and you're getting like a rallying in the United States for it. That's great, but what the fuck is that doing? What is that doing?
But
You're
what's the
gonna
other
rally
option?
the American
What's the
people?
other option?
I think
That is way above my pay grade.
everybody knows like what the other option is.
I
so
know, yeah,
I'm
I know one
really-
option. Just
Like the whole,
mean-
like I like how the UN has came together and just like started throwing billions and billions of dollars towards Ukraine,
No.
but it's gonna take a lot more than that. I'm afraid.
The thing is that if Russia decides to go past Ukraine, then Vladimir Putin has decided, like, I'm just going to end the world. That's because he's.
See, I have different thoughts on that.
My thing is that I don't know for certain I mean, maybe he's just saber rattling. That's not. He wouldn't be the
I
first
think-
person to do that.
What does every dictator want?
Power, land,
Power.
money.
You can't have power if you're dead. I think.
Yeah,
that-
but
I
if
So
you
we
back
kill him.
no, but you back this man into a corner where he feels like he has nothing else to lose,
We got
and he's
we have just as many rockets pointed at him as he does to us. You
Right.
cannot rule a country if you're fucking dead.
But there's nobody, there's nobody more dangerous than a person who's not afraid to die.
Which he has.
Like, I'm not afraid to die, and I'm gonna take the rest of you motherfuckers with me. Like, and you, like I said,
At the end of the day, what's going to happen at the end of this?
I mean,
is
he's
gonna
not
completely-
ISIS, you know. He's
Is going to completely change everything.
what you hope is that he gives the order, and that the Russians are like, you know what, dude, fuck you, and they overthrow him. That's what you hope.
I do hope that, but man,
It happened in Ukraine.
Like I said, but that propaganda machine in Russia is just it's nonstop right now. So there's a whole another article I read where they have a symbol now that's starting
Mm-hmm.
to appear, and if y'all have seen it in photos, it's a Z.
no.
Like,
That
think
started
straight up like Zorro.
at the invasion.
Yeah. So it started there, but now it's starting to show up in Russia's propaganda that that their media is putting out. People are showing up with shirts with Z's on it. It's on the subway.
What's the Z? I'm sorry.
the Z? So
The Z
all right,
is
let's go
the-
back.
I can help you out on this.
Oh well, I've got it. I've
Okay.
She's got
sir.
it. Go
ahead.
Thanks, bro.
Don't cut her off, Khan.
Thanks.
Cut
Thanks,
off,
Josh.
Khan.
It's the new pro-Russian symbol emerging as they continue their assault on Ukraine. It's bold, recognizable, and importantly, to some analysts, can be painted with one stroke. So it's quick and diligent, and you're done. It's efficient. It has been appearing across Russia, spray painted on buildings, printed on T-shirts, plastered on billboards, and brushed on the tanks. Even children are forming Z-shaped lines at schools, and it's quickly becoming a distinctive symbol of support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The symbol has officially been promoted by the military, and some say that it's state-directed. So, obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're just saying that it's just becoming everywhere. The letter Z is of the Latin alphabet, which does not exist in the Cyrillic Russian alphabet. And so it's just showing that that's their symbol. It's a rallying symbol visually.
When almost every country, when they invade another country, there is an invading symbol.
Absolutely.
Russia's is the letter Z.
Yep.
The United States, during Desert Storm, our invasion symbol was this A figure looking letter. There were invasion symbols during World War II when we went into Normandy, and there were invasion symbols. So, like, anytime like a country goes into to invade, there's a symbol that lets everybody know that this is the invasion party right here. And so that's where the letter Z came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But the fact that it's just like resurfacing and being used in a contemporary time, it's disheartening to say the least.
yeah.
It's
What I hope it shows
Scary.
us in the United States, once again, bringing it back to us, is like even if, let's say, Vladimir Putin gets overthrown by the people of Russia, like that situation will never be stable again because you're going to have the Putin sympathizers fighting against the anti-Putin people.
So do you know how that got started? How Russia became it is today? It's kind
Let's hear it.
it's kind of going it's segmented to what you're trying to get to, right?
Okay,
Where
go
like
ahead.
the people will never fall for or will never compromise, right? So in the early 1900s, like during World War I, Russia was originally one of the last, I'm gonna try really hard to say this word, oligarchies? Or no, I started really fucking bad.
You're doing great. 'cause I
It
wouldn't
starts
get
with
that
an
first
A.
word.
Anyways, Tsar Nicholas III. Okay. He was the last ruler of Russia, right? After World War I, Vladimir Lenin, who was a fascist, killed Tsar Nicholas's entire family. The movie Anastasia.
yeah.
Disney-
I loved
was
that movie.
Was that a Disney movie?
It was Disney.
That's a real thing. Like,
I know.
like the Lenin sent in his people and murdered the last real royal family. And then Lenin got overthrown by
Stalin.
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 Thank you.
But I don't know.
And then Stalin started the Russian communist country, which lasted all the way up to 1989, 1990, when the Berlin Wall fell. And then there was a supposed, democracy. So when Lenin started, like they were fighting for years, from pro-Lenin people, the pro-Tsar people, and then the pro-Stalin people. Like it was like you had three parties fighting each other. And so it was like what Nick was trying to get to is, it's even if the people overthrow Putin, you're still going to have pro-Putin people, and you really don't know.
It's going to be
what would
chaos,
happen.
like in the Middle East.
Like it worked out in Ukraine, but the country as big as Russia, it's going to be really hard to tell, unless people have opened up their eyes. Like,
I mean, but the
communism,
question
like,
is,
fucking
did it work
sucks.
out in Ukraine? Because now you still got other countries trying to invade you. That's the point I was trying to get to is like that situation would never be stable, even if they could overthrow him. Just like the Middle East is never going to be stable. And for us in the United States, what it has to help us appreciate is the democracy that we have, the stability that we have had up to this point. Like a lot of blood was shed to create what America is. And it lets you know that the experiment of democracy is a volatile one. And almost every other time, it hasn't worked. Like you've got Canada, which there's a lot of bloodshed to get their freedom, believe it or not. I mean, you think about all the wars
I think you can say
that
that
were
just
fought,
about any country.
all the wars that were fought in Europe. Like I know people like to act like, oh, I can't believe this is happening in Europe. Like the bloodiest wars in our history took place in Europe. All the Crusades, like
Definitely
everything.
the Crusades.
Yeah, everything that it hasn't happened in a long time, yes, but the point that I'm trying to make is that right now we still have some stability, and I want to go back to January 6th of 2021 because we had a duly elected president, and there was a group of people who tried to stop democracy that day. Like they tried to stop democracy. And I see people all the time talking about, oh, we're going to have a civil war over critical race theory and Pepe Le Pew. We're going to have civil war. We're going to have civil war over pronouns. Like this is all shit.
The bathroom bill.
Right. The don't say gay bill, all this bullshit. You're going to be prepared to shed another American's blood over what bathroom people are like allowed to use. Like that's the shit that we've come to. Like you understand, and like I said in my monologue, I think we are so far removed from when we had to fight for freedom that we've taken it for granted. And guys, democracy doesn't mean you get everything the way you want it. Democracy is all about compromise. It's trying to do as good as you can, the best for the collective, not just one group of people. And right now, with our political divide, it's all give, no take, my way or the highway. And I've literally seen people talking about, oh, civil war. Like you don't understand. Civil war
It's
means
another
everything
phrase
that you
thrown out
everything
too loosely.
Yes, civil war. That means everything that you know and love about America is gone. Yes, maybe the shit that you don't like about America is gone too. But is that worth it? Like, is it really worth it? Is it worth us having tanks rolling down the streets and us having schools and hospitals be bombed and you possibly having to kill your next door neighbor because you guys think differently? Like, is that really worth it? Like, look at what's happening in Ukraine. If you think that could not happen here, you're crazy.
So
Like, you're crazy.
I'm just kind of piggybacking off of what you just said. It's a little bit off topic, but not really. So back when 9/11 happened, I was in high school, so living with my folks at our old house. But our neighborhood was between two prominent Muslim temples, but they were feuding Muslim temples. And so it was like a lot of people in our neighborhood were Muslim of one sect or another, and it was just always an issue. But our neighbors, they were Muslim, and they were just the nicest people. And even after all of that happened,
Barker Cypress?
yeah.
I know the mosque you're
You
talking
know,
about.
so you know probably what I'm talking about then. Yeah. Our neighbors, I don't know what the term is. The pastor, priest, whatever, he was in the leadership position at one of the mosques, and they were so nice. Now, one time we did witness them slaughtering a goat in their backyard, but
That's typical for them. That's not for us.
but
It's
it
good
was
jerky.
delicious. And they were just the nicest people, and we went over and we just wanted them to know that. Not that they have our support, but that there is no animosity between us. And we accepted our neighbors, even though what other people may have, they got a lot of hate. And it was so just unjust. It really, people just are extremists. They want to rally behind this hot topic, and they just get all fired up, but they don't know why they're getting fired
But
up.
yeah, let's not pretend that 9/11 brought out the best in everyone.
No,
there was
it definitely didn't.
there was some negativity, but
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is that for the most part, Americans were united, and those Americans included Muslim Americans. And some of them got a really bad rap, and that's unfortunate.
did.
And it's good to
They
hear
did.
that you guys didn't do that.
Well, the stuff that I would hear, like my own classmates say about our other classmates, who were Muslim, and I was like, it's just so, it's hate.
Yeah.
It's hate.
But see, the difference would be that the rallying point around that, though, was an act of terrorism. And I'm not saying it's right, but there was a rallying point that even misguided people could look at. Like, what's the rallying point for a civil war in America right now? It's all politics. And most of it is not even actual political issues. Once again, it's these stupid ass culture wars. And if you think that you believe so strongly in one man, and you think you want one man to run this country, take a look at Russia. And if you think you want a civil war and you want to be torn apart and have the instability that you'll never get back, if America falls apart, it will never be back the same way that it is right now. Like, look at the rest of the world. It is an experiment. It's a chemical concoction that we just happen to kind of get right better than everybody else. But in most places that have tried to do this, they have not succeeded. And if you want to see it gone forever, then keep this bullshit up. Keep going with this Russian propaganda. Keep listening and hating one another. Like, we have to be able to rally together against people like Putin of all. Like, at least can we rally
Yeah.
together against Putin?
Well, I'm
Like, I know you don't like Joe Biden. I know you don't like Donald Trump. But can you swallow that shit right now? Because, like, that's really not important.
yeah. So I'm
We're
definitely
talking
going to
about freedom on the
disagree
line.
with you saying that America got it better than other places, because I completely disagree with that.
I
But
just mean the
everything
process of
else,
democracy.
which is also, yeah, I stand by what I said, but everything else that you said is absolutely on point. And I just wish people would get a hold of the bigger picture, but people get so like tunnel vision with what's right in front of them. And you really got to think about the bigger picture. Like, have some fucking perspective. Like, stand back, gather your breath, count to 10, motherfuckers, and look at what is happening. And you really want to be a part of that, or do you want to be a part of the solution? Like, it's just,
Okay, that's me and you are 100% on the same page right there. Would you agree that there's fewer places that got democracy right than there are who did get it right?
oh, I think
America
out of
would
all
be-
the countries in the world, I think statistically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who have tried to get it to the point where we have it. And when I say democracy, I just mean the process of selecting who your president is, peaceful transfers of power, which we had a little bit of an issue with the last time we had to do that. That's all I meant by us getting the democracy part right. Is like, we've never before recently had anybody like try to maintain office and go against the will of the people. Like,
No, it's cool. I got what you got.
I think that's what I was going
but
for.
America, but there's still fucking the Capitol had a riot.
right.
America is
That's-
definitely not
yeah.
the best in
so,
democracy.
I mean, up to this point, we had done it pretty well. But no, I agree with you 100%. And that's what makes this scary.
Way to go, Americans.
That's what makes this shit scary. And it's funny because I know that a lot of people would argue, well, that's just people on the fringe, but it's starting to become less and less fringe.
Well, and so you talk about acts of terrorism, and By definition, acts of terrorism are performed by groups of extremists. Extremists. So you got this little group over here, we'll say white. This little group over here, black, not race, just colors. But
Maybe you should have
the
chose different
whole-
colors then.
Okay, this group over
Let's
here,
go with
green.
purple and green.
There we
Okay.
go.
Green. This group over here.
I didn't know what she was
Blue.
going for a first second. I was like, okay.
But then the whole area here in the middle is turquoise. If you got green and blue,
There we go.
It's most people will fall into the turquoise range. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got just
Purple?
these idiots, though. No, I said green and blue. It's turquoise, teal, whatever.
Yeah.
you know,
So, but the media is only going to show what these extremists are doing because that's what gets them ratings. That's what gets them viewers, listeners.
Yeah.
They don't care about what the turquoise is doing because the turquoise is doing what they're supposed to fucking be doing, living their life, providing for their family, doing what they're supposed to be doing. But you get these fucking idiots on either side of the spectrum who are ruining it for everybody. And that is throughout history, no matter what country you're from. And that's the problem areas. These groups here on the sides, on the ends.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like those fringes in the past, they would talk a lot of shit. They didn't ever have the balls to storm the Capitol. Like that fringe is starting to become less fringe. It's starting to become, unfortunately,
I'd
more
s-
mainstream. And
I'd
that's
say
just
that's
headed.
becoming social media.
Yeah, and that's heading down a
Absolutely.
path, and because of propaganda from
and
other countries.
Also, I would also argue it has to do with perspective. Kind of going with what you said. It's funny because I had a book that I'm reading that kind of addresses this. Is that wall behind us could be orange, but depending on what color shades that we are wearing, that may appear a different color. That doesn't mean it's still not orange. That just means the person wearing those shades are seeing something different. And unfortunately, that is what.
That wall is definitely green.
Okay, he's wearing shades,
I'm just saying.
but it goes back to.
I love
I
that
was trying to be a
analogy,
smart ass
actually.
and give you the
That's-
actual color.
As a designer, I love that analogy because you can always have two same color things, but depending on what their neighboring color is,
It changes.
it changes, and you could swear that one's blue and that's pink, but really they're the exact same shade of purple.
And I wish I could. I wish I.
I'm not
I
gonna
didn't-
lie, I'm
I-
lost. I forgot what we're talking about now.
We're not talking about the wall.
We're talking about the
being
wall.
But right, but the perspective.
It's perspective.
Okay.
is if I had a tinted shade, and I wish I had the actual colors because he uses the colors, and I'm not great with colors, whatever. But he
you
talks about
colorblind?
no.
Oh.
He just talks about that. Hey, that vase over there is this color,
Right.
but this gentleman over here is wearing a tinted shade of color that makes that look blue, and this one over here is wearing another one that's making it look purple.
Right.
That still doesn't mean that it's not orange. That just means two different people looking at a different perspective.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what you're going at with. People are keeping their shades on and not realizing that they can take it off and look at the actual truth.
Right.
And that is what you said.
You
going
wrapped that
through
up
it.
beautifully, dude.
You like that?
I was wondering where this was going. That was
See?
beautiful.
See?
All right.
You're welcome.
So I can.
I'm posting something on my my business page, but it was an article that I just read Monday this week that is exactly what you were saying. So if you're interested in the color theory behind all that, then you can
Yeah.
look at my business page.
No,
but
you-
back to perspective.
You brought that together beautifully because people do have glasses on that are affecting their ability to see what color the wall is, if we want to stick with that analogy. And it's, you said it like it's so simple, and it really is simple. Just take them off.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
just take them off and realize like
See what everyone
what
else is
made
saying.
this country great wasn't that everybody got everything the way that they wanted it. What made this country great is that we were able to compromise and meet in the middle somewhere. There's no more compromise. Like, and a big part of it is our government, and guys, like, there's a lot that we got to fix and that we got to, you know, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to get out there, grab a clipboard, get some signatures, get involved, like talk to your congressman, talk to your mayor, talk to like,
They say the biggest way to make a difference in government is to run for government.
well,
I was about to say
yeah.
run.
And
Whether
and
it's-
don't let the machine get you, man. Because look, there's a lot of money in politics, and like I'm saying, I said it before. It's not like we don't have problems here, But when the choice is stick up for America, stick up for the president of the United States, or stick up for Vladimir Putin, that should be really clear.
Yeah.
It should be really, really. Anybody who cares about freedom, anybody who cares about anything that the United States is supposed to stand for, can look at what's happening in the world. Get off of YouTube. You don't have to watch 20 documentaries. I was in a thread with somebody having this very same argument, and they just kept sending me links to President Obama sent neo-Nazis to Ukraine. Hunter Biden's laptop was there, and the Hillary Clinton Foundation, blah, 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 Burisma, all this bullshit. And I was like,
How do you know it's bullshit though?
I said, which one of these articles that you're sending me justifies Vladimir Putin bombing a children's hospital? I'm going to watch that one first.
Right.
Co-
Yeah.
First of all, okay, I'm pretty confident it's bullshit, but let's pretend for a second that maybe it's not. What does that have to do with Vladimir Putin taking over Ukraine?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, how do I know?
Nothing. That's something to
Distract you.
strike emotion.
Sounds like a
because
current.
that's a hit that's going to basically affect everybody. Obviously, it's been brought up several times in this podcast alone. So whether it's true or not, or to the extent of whatever the news has been reporting, it's a tool that they're using. It's just another tool that they're
Yeah.
using.
To
And
distract you.
it's
Yes.
It's to distract
what it
what's really
is
going
I'm
on.
like, I asked her, I was like, where do you get your Russian propaganda from? Like, do you have to, can you
State-issued
can you
TV?
subscribe to Sputnik? I'm just curious, because that is exactly what he's telling people is the reason he's bombing children's hospitals, is because Ukraine's the enemy. There's neo-Nazis there. The United States put them there. The United States is trying to take over Russia. Like, all of this shit. That's the problem. And she's literally regurgitating that to me. And I was like, I'm not going to watch these videos, but go ahead and show me the one that justifies what Putin's doing. I'll watch that one first. And of course, there was no response. Like, and it was very QAnon-ish. Like, I hate to bring that up again. Current. It was very current-ish. But it's just, and that's the thing. Like, that was Vladimir Putin's tactic that he started 20 years ago. And the fucked up part is that shit is working. Like, and right now it's still, I feel it's still a smaller portion of the country who's buying into that. But as far as our political divide, that's pretty much right down the middle
Well,
at this
and
point.
what were you saying earlier? You were saying that someone said that they thought Putin was a genius, an evil genius, but
That was Donald J. Trump who said that.
okay, see,
As the Russian forces were surrounding Ukraine.
So whenever I was in high school, we were told to write a paper on powerful leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone chose like, we've got Roosevelt or whatever.
Churchill.
Yeah. I chose Hitler. But nothing I said was anything good to say about him, but he was a fucking genius.
He had really
If-
good propaganda
if-
machine.
exactly.
Joseph Goebbels was a genius
That
of propaganda.
is my point exactly.
He was a master manipulator.
If
Yeah.
you are a master manipulator and you've got propaganda, you
I wouldn't
can
use the word
change
genius,
the
but
course.
I wouldn't use the word genius, but
Well,
I see what
genius-
you're trying to say.
Genius is
you've got
a
like
flat
millions
term.
and millions of
There's
citizens to follow you. Like,
Yes.
how I mean,
So that's my point. So people are saying this about Putin. He's doing these things. He's putting all of himself out there. He doesn't give a fuck. He's got nothing to lose, right?
He's playing
This
chess.
is very Hitler-esque, honestly.
No, it is.
Honestly. And
agree with
and I want everyone else to realize that it's not just something that's happening on the other side of the world.
Yeah. I mean,
It's already affecting us at
at
the store,
my
everything
thing-
else. That's the basis. It could get worse.
yeah, that's just, it could get a lot worse. Like, I hate to go back to this, but we had a former president trying to convince everyone that our democracy did not work. Like, that was the Putin strategy.
Well,
We also had a president who tried to discredit every member of the press that didn't only print or say the things that he agreed with.
yes.
That was the Putin strategy.
I
Putin
saw-
did that.
I saw communism in all of those tactics, and I am very open about being like the black sheep on this part of town, and my ideals and where they lie, but I'm steadfast in those. I mean, we can discuss, and
Yeah,
I am,
absolutely.
and I do not hate towards anybody, regardless of what they believe or think. That's fine. But whenever something like that happens, and you're gonna stand by it and just invest everything that you've got into that argument, I just find
It's
just
things we don't.
ludicrous, honestly.
It's not a hill to die on for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, like, we talked about shutting down the press. Like, that's another thing that we take for granted because we didn't have to fight for it. Like, do you realize there are countries that you can be beheaded if you write the wrong thing?
Russia.
Like, yes.
So what's the Truth Network saying about all this?
Why are you looking
You
at
know,
me
the-
for?
Cause
I already know what it is, but I haven't signed up for it.
I think we should make a podcast account on Truth. I really do.
What is truth?
That's unfortunate.
It's
So
Donald
it's-
Trump's social media. It's like his version of Twitter.
Yeah.
It's
Actually came out with
literally
that.
like
Yeah, no,
Facebook
I want nothing to do
and
with that.
LinkedIn had a baby.
That is the most cultist thing I've ever.
yeah,
heard.
no,
it's
I don't want
weird.
anything to do with that.
But
That's
I'm saying
weird.
if you go there, it's pretty much probably just going to be everybody who still thinks he's president and all the QAnon people just in this tornado of misinformation.
funniest
I think it
thing-
would be funny.
I'm gonna distance myself from
The
that.
funniest thing I
It's
saw
almost
about
as
it.
culty as religion.
The funniest thing I saw about it was within
Way to go,
its
Con.
first 24 hours of being available to the first people that got in, because there's a waiting list, by the way.
Is it
So
really?
It's a very long
It's
Did
waiting
he
a
list.
have
waiting
more
list.
than 8 pictures?
Oh, it's
No. So there, I
a
have
waiting list for a social media platform
Yes,
is
I have a
absurd.
Are you VIP? Is there
No, I have a
VIP club?
coworker at work that signed up just to see
He
what it
doesn't
was
have enough
like.
servers to just let everybody get on it.
Yeah, the servers, their servers are not big enough. But you hold up.
They're
He showed me his
huge.
phone, and he's like number 167,000 something.
Oh,
so that's
God,
what
we're
line
all
he's in.
duped.
But no, what I was saying was in the first 24 hours for the first few people that were able to get on, there was already half of them had already been banned from the platform because they were going against the policies
Guidelines.
and guidelines that they had in place for the app.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the app was to say that we could post anything we want.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the
because
freedom
we
of
couldn't
speech
do
app.
it on Facebook.
Yo, that's wild. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know how true it is, but
Shit's so
I've
fucking
read
weird.
stories about people getting banned.
Yeah,
'cause they
I don't know
spoke
about the
negatively
truth of it
about
either.
What's
Donald
that
Trump.
movie
No
called?
pun
Idiocracy.
intended.
It's a
I think-
documentary.
Our next episode, we are going to have a huge viewing party. We're all going to watch Idiocracy.
We're watching it right now. We're
I
watching the
will
last.
bring the popcorn.
This is the
President
reboot.
Camacho.
This is the
Idiocracy
reboot.
is the Cliff Notes.
That and Don't Look Up. When he was watching that documentary,
movie
it
was
got to the
kinda
point.
Oh yeah, no, that was good.
When he got to the part of the documentary, it was talking about how, okay, so the
fell asleep
CIA
with
knew that Russia was trying to interfere in our election. And so Obama hesitated because he was scared of making it look like they were trying to sway the election. He didn't want to tell the American people what Russia was doing. And Putin was kind of playing him a little bit too. So the day they decided, okay, the American needs to know that this is going on. So they decide we're going to drop this on a Friday. We'll dominate the news all weekend. So they put it out that morning, and like a couple of hours later, Donald Trump's Access Hollywood video came out of him saying grab him by the pussy.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And that is the only thing anybody talked about. Like the fact that a foreign country was hacking our systems and interfering in our election nobody cared about that shit because Donald Trump said grab him by the pussy. And that is the only thing. And it totally reminded me of Idiocracy
Yep.
and of Don't Look Up because something really serious was happening and we were worried about this social media phenomenon.
Sleight of hand.
But not
Yeah.
just worried about it, but worried about it because our leadership points us in that direction. So I feel like
I mean, that's all the media talked about too.
Yeah.
So it's on them. Yeah.
Well, and yeah, I mean, I definitely get that, but the leadership, it falls on them to guide the whole people and the milieu of everything that's going on. Like it just, I don't know, leadership, man. So
I'm just saying you have two stories out there. One is foreign adversary interfering in our election. The other is Donald Trump says grab him by the pussy. Which one?
I am definitely
gonna
going to
trend
listen
more.
to Donald Trump
Yeah.
saying grab him by the pussy. It sounds way more interesting.
That's all I'm
That's
saying.
the-
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's my point.
And so
like,
did all the other millions of Americans were like, ooh, what is this shiny thing? This
Exactly.
is awesome.
ooh,
exactly.
shiny.
Ooh, squirrel.
yeah, and so
And that's the truth of it, unfortunately. But that's just human nature. And I don't fault anybody for being like that, but I do
I do.
think that
I
people.
think we're all stupid.
I think that people
Amen, brother.
should practice.
Me too. I'm dumb. That's rock.
I can't think of the fucking word. I need to practice it too. Just
Abstinence.
Kegels.
definitely not abstinence. Kegels, I am set, bro.
No.
I've been doing Kegels this whole show, y'all. War on Russian Ukraine. I'm getting these Kegels in.
I would just say that this whole sleight of hand thing has been going on for the longest time. And you can
Absolutely.
turn your
Oh,
TV on
absolutely.
right now, and I guarantee you, there's something else on there right now. There's another Access Hollywood video being spotlighted.
Donald Trump?
No,
Oh,
that's why I did quotes.
I mean,
there's another Access Hollywood video out there right now taking the storm over what's actually happening
Yeah.
overseas right
I
now.
mean, I feel like part of the overseas thing is it is the main story, but I guarantee you there's people in this country taking advantage of the fact that that's the headline to do some underhanded shit. And I'm talking about people in our government. I'm talking about moving. Okay, here's a perfect example. Why did it take us a month to cut off Russian oil? That should have been the first thing we did. Why did it take us a month? Probably because all of our congressmen and senators had to make sure they got their money moved out of Russian oil and shit first.
I
Before.
100% agree with that.
Like,
Yes.
I'm actually surprised they did it because I was like, I thought to myself, they're probably not even going to do it. There's way too many rich people with money to lose.
Yeah,
if they cut
and
off
it's
Russian
not
oil.
just them. It's a lot of other companies that have money
Yeah.
over there. And as
I was
as
shocked
it's
they
gone
actually
on,
did it.
The value of the ruble has declined like dramatically.
It
So
dropped like 20%.
yeah,
in one day.
I think it's higher than
They
that
say
now.
like after
It's worth less than a penny. I
they
know
say
that.
if our stock market dropped 5% in one day, we shut the entire stock market down. Like that is like bad
Yeah.
news.
They did shut their market down.
And the rubles shut down or what dropped like 20% or 30.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to say it's even more than that.
yeah,
Somebody got to fact check me on that one, but
Yeah. I know. All I know is it's less than a penny at this point. So
yeah.
well, what's crazy?
But
you
he
just
also
mentioned-
had like a backup economy, like a backup Russian dollar, and so he
A backup economy in your back pocket, man.
which I think it's
got
just a
all this
different
shit in
form.
crypto, I'm sure.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it's just a different form of crypto. But he had
NFTs.
to enact. Yeah, he had to enact that since the fucking ruble.
yeah,
is
Putin is not hurting financially. Like, let's keep it
No,
real.
he's
Well, and who the fuck
If he
cares about
was,
whether
he
or not
either
he's hurting
Did you hear
if he
about-
was, he either would have given up by now or just sent the nukes. Like,
No,
he's
he's
not
good to
gonna.
go.
Yeah,
Autocracy
he's not
was the
hurting.
word I was trying to think of earlier. By the way.
Autocracy?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's an autocrat.
What
no,
did
no,
you want to
no,
say?
That's when I was talking about the.
I remember.
czar.
I forgot.
Con cut you off.
I was trying to
know.
remember what you, because I was saying something and you would cut me off. So I was listening, but I was also trying not to forget what I was going to say.
okay.
I completely.
See, that's
forgot.
why I cut you off, so I don't forget what I was going to say.
I've got to
Oh, I remember.
Okay, well,
Ah,
not
here
that
we go.
story
I
after you
remember.
then.
No, and it's funny you brought up the whole 30 days before they cut off the oil and everything. It's very interesting because it's not just oil. There was an article that I read and I can't quote it now for the life of me, but it was talking about how much of our politicians or how many of them have actually invested in that area.
Yes.
And how much it's decreased since this whole thing has started, which is totally not unusual or odd at all by any means.
I think we would have cut off Russian oil day one if there weren't too many people in this country that had something to lose by doing that.
So we're saying there need to be congressional term limits.
My
Yes,
man
absolutely.
Bernie. No,
There's
it's
some
best.
Republicans. There's some Republicans who are pushing for that too.
It
They'll
needs
never-
to happen.
Mitch McConnell's never gonna let them
So
see the light of
you
day.
have
but-
all of these
with
politicians, lifelong politicians.
Donald Trump was
and
trying to start
they've
that.
been saying the same thing. That would be good. They said the same thing. Their stances don't hardly change. Their views don't hardly change for decades. Well, guess what? The rest of the world around you is fucking changing.
Yeah.
So why do we have these lifelong politicians running our country? It makes zero sense. Term
not to-
limits need to happen.
Absolutely. And not to mention, if you think about it, like when they do polls and they question the American public, there's a lot of things that are universally popular. And right now, our country's just, they're not getting anything done. Like, you're supposed to send a representative to represent the things that you want. But we're electing these people. They're getting up there, and then they're not really doing anything.
Yeah.
Until election
Yeah.
time comes, and then they'll pass, I don't know, a bill that lets everybody carry a handgun without a license.
Oh, I love
And
it
then-
around election time. All of a sudden,
Right.
all these crazy things
All of a
start
sudden,
happening.
like, hey, you can't get an abortion after X amount of time. Like,
10 weeks.
10 weeks. I thought it was 6.
No, I think it's 10.
It's
Texas
six
is
it's around a
six.
heartbeat,
Six.
which is way before both of those,
It's
Right.
6 weeks.
But I'm just saying, like,
which is bullshit.
those are two policies that if you polled all of Texas, not just a certain group of Texas, neither one of those policies was very popular, but it got passed anyway. Why? Because the right people that paid the right price wanted those passed.
And now all of these young women
So
are
look,
dying.
I'm
in
not
other
trying to be
places.
anti-American, but I'm saying these are the problems we have on the inside that we can fix. But we still, like, we cannot fall apart. Otherwise, it's fun to have, not necessarily fun, but it's good to have these debates. Let's talk about policy. Let's talk about compromise. Let's talk about solution. The solution is not to become an autocracy. The solution is not to root for Putin and let's go Brandon at the same time. Like, it's just not.
That's
it's
just so dumb and immature.
it's
Can we be
dumb.
real?
It
The
re-
Let's
it
Go
really
Brand
is.
is really immature.
Anytime I see that, like I go to the beach and I see the trucks with "Let's
Not
Go
even
Brand,"
funny.
I feel like they're frat boys.
Yeah,
like
it's
every
not.
time I see it, I'm like
It's
frat
re-
boys.
really
It's so
looks
I mean,
stupid.
it's America.
I'm
They have
sorry.
free speech. If they want to let's go Brandon, I'm like, okay. Like, I mean,
yeah. No,
why don't you
like,
just say fuck Joe Biden?
I don't have a
like,
problem.
you know, you live in
with
America.
it.
You can just say fuck Joe Biden, like, and you won't go to prison.
Yeah.
And you won't get your head cut off.
Not
Like,
yet.
So I have an odd question
Yeah.
Bring on the audit.
because
Did we go on a tangent? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Odd question. So, as I said earlier, I watched that documentary, and one of the turning points,
The PBS one?
one of the turning points for me, what I thought was odd, and I'm asking this as a hypothetical, your opinion. There is no right or wrong answer. With the whole collusion with the DNC emails, and
Did you mean collusion, or was there a different word you were searching for?
that may be a different word.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. The DNC hack. Is that
Yeah.
better? Okay. As me and you were talking before we recorded, that basically screwed Bernie Sanders out of even being anywhere near nominated.
No, I think the DNC
Why's
screwed
that?
him out.
Well,
of
right.
it.
But it
And
leaked.
Russia exposed it.
So my question is,
What happened to Bernie?
it's a whole different thing. They basically set him up
To lose.
To lose.
Yeah.
That was it.
Because he would have made too many good changes.
Hillary was going to be the nominee no matter what.
So my question
And
is,
they made sure of it.
She had more money.
American democracy, y'all.
my question is if Bernie would have had to win that nomination, do you think we would be in the exact same position we were now?
I don't think Bernie ever stood a chance.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Because if Bernie actually, first of all, let's pretend
so
Bernie.
let's say Bernie won.
Okay.
So he's going against.
Do you think
Trump.
we would be divided politically still?
Do you think?
Absolutely.
Do you think the landscape of where we are now would look different, slightly the same, or exactly the
I
same?
think it would be the same, except it wouldn't be the Clinton Foundation. It wouldn't be Burisma. There would be some Bernie Sanders scandal that led to the QAnon bullshit. But I think that Russia was success. Like Russia, if you watch that documentary, they had an actual axe to grind with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
and Bill
that's
Clinton.
what I'm saying. So with that being known,
Is that the documentary you
that's the one
us?
you sent to us.
And I sent you as a couple of
Because
them.
I find it.
I'll have to watch
This
that.
is just me thinking out loud, and me just, as I said, watch that before.
So Hillary
so-
Clinton ruined everything by running for president, is what you're saying?
No.
I'm just like,
I just,
And because
I mean,
she's
it
a
sounds like that.
And because she's a woman.
No, I just think I don't.
we don't talk
it's-
about politics on this show, by the way.
No, it's just interesting.
Hey, I decided to give you all this one free pass for this politic bullshit.
I was gonna say we kind of knew
I'm
we were
sorry,
going to touch on that
it's
during the
just
show.
interesting when I was watching that documentary that the hate for Bernie, and I'm not saying this as a Bernie fan. I'm not a fan of any politician.
Yeah.
I may agree with some of them, but I'm not a fan
agree.
of them. They're not.
I
they're
agree
not
with your
athletes.
statement.
They're
I
not-
agreed with some of Bernie's ideas.
Yeah, they're not athletes. They're not actors. You're not supposed to
Worship
look
them.
up or worship your politicians. That's
Or
stupid.
put a 50-foot banner on the outside of your fence. or a life-size mannequin of
Shout out
certain
Deer Park. I just find it interesting that the people that were actually against Bernie was his own people, and in that documentary, it didn't seem that Putin and Russia had any axe to grind with Bernie,
Right.
and that the reason I'm saying that is.
That's because Bernie minded his own damn business. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
I don't
it's
think
gonna
Russia ever saw Bernie as a threat.
It's going to be one of those what if questions that we will never know.
That's true.
It's a Kanye moment. They always say, "What would happen if I didn't win?" I guess we'll never know.
Right.
We'll
While
never
I'm
know.
recommending documentaries,
Genius.
if you want something that goes a little bit deeper into the DNC and what happened between Bernie and Hillary, watch Fahrenheit 11/9.
It's Fahrenheit. Is it the-
9/11?
9/11 was the first one. That was the second one is 11/9.
Oh yeah, it's
I didn't know
a
there was a second
sequel.
one.
There's a sequel. Yeah.
It's not really because it's about a completely different topic. Also, there is a documentary that started off as it was supposed to be Hillary Clinton's documentary of how she became the first women president of the United States because they just assumed she was going to win. So it started off as that type of documentary, like it was supposed to be hers. And then obviously what happened, and it turned into a completely different documentary. I can't remember what it's called right now. I'll get that for you later. That's not very good radio.
Most women I
But
know do not want Hillary
it is
Clinton
fascinating.
as a president.
Well,
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
Like you say what you will about Donald Trump, like his rise from like everybody thought he was a joke to being the president of the United States is fucking fascinating. Like you got to watch the documentary. It's
Yeah,
very
it
good.
speaks volumes
yeah.
of the American
And
people.
this look, our family's fucked up, guys, but this is our family. Don't let other people come in and fuck with our family, okay? The United States, we are family. Putin, stay your ass over there. Everybody else, like, just leave us the fuck alone. We're gonna figure this shit out eventually.
Oh, yeah. And I talk shit about the American people or American ideals or stuff like that, but
Because you have the freedom to do so.
Exactly like what we were saying before. I can talk shit about it. Someone else comes here and starts talking shit about it, but fuck you. Where
Yeah.
do you come from?
I don't
We're
agree
gonna have
with
problems.
you, Naomi. And I feel like you need to go to jail.
it was just
Your
it was
ideas
just,
suck.
Been there, done that.
my thinking was it was just like I said, a what if question we'll never know the answer to is
Yeah.
the people that were in the chess match. He had an axe to grind, and he's the only one that he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything against him, and if he would have won the election, which I still don't think it would have been nearly as what it looked like it did. I think it would have been slightly different, but we'll never know what that looks like.
I think that it would be whoever was in the minority just trying to block whatever the majority wanted to do, whether it was Democrat, like that something's got to be done with that. And I think term limits is the answer. Will it ever happen?
I agree.
I don't know.
I certainly
hope so.
hope so. I certainly
Bernie
hope so.
Sanders is one of the people. I feel like anybody who talks about it, they don't stand a chance because,
Pelosi?
what is it? Rick Scott.
We just gotta wait for them all to die.
Rick Scott is a Republican senator
God.
who hopes to be. He's gonna try to be Speaker of the House. If Republicans are probably taking the House back, so he wants to be Speaker instead of.
McConnell.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. He wants to be the Majority Leader, not Speaker. He's a senator.
Pelosi is speaker.
I was about to say,
Right.
who has
He's a
Pelosi in
senator.
their
He
death
wants
pool?
he wants Chuck Schumer's.
Fuck.
He wants Chuck
Me.
Schumer's gig. He wants to be the Majority Leader in the Senate. Not Mitch
Senate
McConnell.
majority.
The Senate Majority Leader, right? Not Mitch McConnell. Of course, Mitch McConnell has been the Senate Majority Leader every time Republicans own the Senate forever. The motherfucker's like the crypt keeper.
He
And
looks like Franklin to me.
Rick Scott said straight up, and he tried to put it on Schumer, but he was talking about McConnell too. He's like, there's too many people here who they talk about term limits, but they don't really want it. He's like, if I become
course.
if I become the majority leader, like I'm gonna push for term limits. Now I don't agree with a lot of things that Rick Scott is about. Like he's anti-abortion. Like there's a lot of things that me and him would not agree
I
on.
don't trust anybody with two first names, so you know.
But I'm telling you right now, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. If you come and you talk about you want term limits, I'm going to heavily consider voting for you. I don't really care about anything else.
I agree.
That's on your agenda at
I
that point.
feel like that is
And weed
the
legalization.
beginning of change in our country long term. I feel like term limits guarantee change because changing of the guard is constantly
Also, people
happening.
educating themselves about what and who they're voting for, and not voting for people because you like their hair.
Because your
or-
mommy said so,
Right,
Or,
or
because your daddy is
That's
crazy.
that's the thing. Like, politics has stopped even being anything about actual policy and like it's all about
It's popularity. That's all
Yeah.
it is. It's just like
the
high
culture
school.
wars. Like, can anybody? Like, I'm still waiting for Donald Trump's healthcare plan that never came. Joe Biden, he talked about all this policy that he was going to do. Now, to be fair, and I'm going to try to be fair to everybody, like, right now, you have to get Republicans and Democrats to do shit together, and neither one of them are. They're just a bunch of babies. Like,
Oh,
nobody
because-
wants to compromise
because
on
but
anything.
neither side wants the other one to have a win.
Yeah.
To have a fucking win.
What about the American people? We
You
need
know
to win.
why? You know why? Because when they leave at 5 o'clock, I'm just saying 5 o'clock, so it's a relatable. They go home in their cush little mansion.
Yep.
Everything is fine because
Driving Maseratis.
everything outside of that wall, they don't care because it doesn't change what's going on inside of that wall.
Right.
That is the only. That is the reason why they act the way they do. They say the things they say.
So people-
and they approve the things they approve is because it doesn't affect them.
Get
and they don't
involved.
care.
Yeah. So y'all, if you wholeheartedly do want to get involved and make a change, and you decide you want to run for politics, I implore you to go to your nearest
Shout
Chamber
out
of
Stephen Terry.
Commerce.
Yeah.
The Chamber of Commerce has programs in place to train people who want to run for a political position. So
Let's
you've got to
call it.
learn
Let's
all
call
about.
it public service.
You've got there you go.
There we go.
You've got to learn how to fundraise, public speaking. There's a lot of things that go into it, and in my opinion, the best local chamber of commerce around these parts, outside of Houston, is Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce. They have an amazing school for people who want to go into public service.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no,
Guys,
it's a great thing.
Here's the thing. Yeah, it's one thing to sit around and bitch, and once again, let's use our democracy while we fucking still have it, please. And if there's any message that I wanted to have in this show, is that, like, appreciate what we have. It could be gone in an instant, and let's stop treating each other like we're the enemies, because there's real enemies out there who want to see this country fall apart. And unfortunately, some of the tactics that they're using are beginning to work, and we have to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
Starts with us.
Your enemy is not the neighbor across the street who doesn't mow their lawn.
Exactly.
And it's not the girl next door who comes over and ding dong ditches you on a Friday evening with her friends.
This sounds like a relatable story for you.
No. I am pulling these anecdotes from Facebook and all of the complaints that people actually do. Like, stop complaining about this stuff.
We're talking
Stop.
to you, Deer Park, Texas Talk.
Can we talk about the lady who complained on Deer Park, Texas Talk?
Please tell. Please. Okay.
The
I'm gonna let
one
you
who
finish.
started bitching about how Waterberg removed the American flag sticker on their
Okay.
window.
Nope, that's not what I was thinking. But
Let's
yeah.
not talk about that one tonight. Let's do that another
tonight.
time. It's time for our specialty segment, which we actually haven't even decided what it's going to be.
I thought that was a specialty segment.
We should do some trivia.
We should talk about this lady on
yeah,
Deer
let's
Park,
do a
Texas
trivia
Talk.
between Khan and Naomi.
I think I'm gonna start pulling
we have
my
anybody in the chat?
dumbass of the week
We'll do the
from
same
Deer
thing
Park
as
Talk.
last time. If they don't know the answer, I will try to guess.
Okay,
it,
is there
and I
anybody in the
will-
chat? We're going to do all the categories, though. Anybody going to call and try to win? Was that your ass, bro?
I think that.
This motherfucker just. Woo!
I tried to hold it as long as.
I'm not editing that out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to amplify it.
Hold on a minute.
This motherfucker
I feel you,
just
dog.
busted ass
I've
in
been
the
holding-
middle of the show.
I've been holding some back
That's
too.
one for the blooper reel.
God. Can you give me those cards over there, Colin, before you lace your headphones
Oh
up?
my
Oh God.
What in the actual fuck, bro?
Dude, I've been holding it for a while. I was like, damn. And then I moved just enough.
Speaking of Putin,
Stop it.
oh,
Oh
All right.
Lord.
here are our topics.
My head kind of
We're
hurts
doing our
now.
game show.
Yeah, let's get a good for dude add in after. Let's get a good for dude add in, and then we will do a trivia possible giveaway if anybody wants to call in the spirit line, win some free shit.
All right.
I'm out of alcohol.
What's up, guys? It's Nick Stevenson again. Fellas, this time I'm talking specifically to you, and I want you to know it's okay. You don't have to be embarrassed. I know you want your skin to look good. Now, you haven't been taking care of your skin for years, and now every time you go to the coffee shop, they're offering you the senior discount. Now, maybe you've wanted to take care of your skin, but you just don't want to shop for products where your wife or your girlfriend gets her stuff. Well, fellas, why not just get your own stuff? All you got to do is go to goodfordudes.com. That's good, the number 4, dudes.com. That's right. Good for Dudes offers a skincare product that is designed for men. Best part is it can be shipped right to your house, fast and easy. You want something to help prevent signs of aging like wrinkles and dark spots? Try WTF. What's that? Simple. It just means wear on the face. After washing your face in the morning, apply WTF. After showering in the evening, apply WTF. If you've already got signs of aging, it's cool because this product will minimize those. And there's so much more. Just go see for yourself at goodfordudes.com. Once again, good, the number 4, dudes, DUDES.com. You want a promo code? Sure. Use the initials to this show, SLMAS. Smells like middle-aged spirit. And you'll get 10% off your order. What are you waiting for, Gramps? I mean, buddy. It's okay, guys. If you want to take care of your skin, just get your own stuff at goodfordudes.com. Alrighty, it suddenly got a little warmer in here. Thanks a lot, Josh.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the buzzer battle. I guess it's going to be Naomi versus Khan. Can we make this a little more aesthetically pleasing for our watchers?
With our
All 6 of them?
With our third contestant on the side.
Yes. Do we have any callers who want to participate? We'll give away some coffee or something.
I am not good at
We
this.
can
No,
try.
I need the coffee. I need the coffee.
Okay.
Come on,
so
let me
I
win.
set up a ordering.
Let me win.
I set up a ordering
No.
system. Did you not catch that?
I did.
Okay.
It is on
was
our
making sure.
website.
Put your order in.
I just want to win some coffee, man.
Oh, you want to win it? Okay.
Can I
That's
not
cool, that's
win
cool.
it?
All right. So these are our topics for the random trivia. We've got around the world,
Got it.
TVs, movie and music,
Nope, fail.
general knowledge, food and drink.
Let's go with general knowledge.
Can we go with
Oh, we're
like
going to
random
spin.
facts that will never help you? Ooh, yes.
Who wants to spin first?
I should
Let's
spin
get that Jeopardy trap music going too.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Ladies first.
Thanks, Con.
What do we got? What do we got?
Food and
Food
drink.
and drink. All right, you guys ready? Are you close enough to the buzzer?
I should know enough because I drink.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do.
enough.
This is what we're gonna do. Whoever wins is gonna get some coffee, and they don't have to pay for it. You could have this too, America, if
Food
you just
and
call
drink.
in.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready?
Ready.
Which of, the,
Listo.
which of the following is not a type of cheese? Havarti, Manchego, Jonagold.
Yours didn't work.
I think it's a
I'm
piece
gonna,
of
I'm
shit.
gonna, I'm gonna give Khan that one
Damn
because
it.
he slapped it
The,
first.
the second one you said.
Manchego?
Yeah.
That actually is cheese.
Fuck.
I'm gonna say C. Yeah, 3. Number 3.
Oh, if he gets it wrong, does she get a chance to answer?
Oh well, shit. No,
Yes.
but I literally knew
yes,
the answer.
it is Jonagold. It's an apple. That's an apple. That's not cheese.
Yeah, buddy.
I swear to God, my Dutch family would have disowned me if I got that wrong.
Okay, when you're doing a best of and there's 6 people playing, what's the number we should go with?
6.
No, because then it could be a tie.
But it
7.
won't be.
Okay, we'll go with 7. Your turn to spin, Con.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. And you guys will be learning random trivia yourselves.
TV, movies.
Ooh,
And music.
It's my favorite.
Yep,
All
fail
right, here
for
we go.
me.
What character did David Borans play in Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know who that is.
I watched the show,
I
but
bet it was
I'm
Buffy.
sorry, Boranaz. Does that let you know now?
That main vampire guy.
I bet it was Buffy.
wasn't Buffy.
See, that's the only one that I do know.
His name was Dan.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
His name was Angel, and they gave him a spinoff show.
I should have fucking
after
got
that.
that
Yeah.
because I watched Angel too.
You should. What? And you didn't get that?
I did not. get
Jesus.
that.
At least I've got an excuse. I never watched.
It was the
episode
actor's
of that
name. You didn't know the
bullshit.
actor's name,
It
right?
was so good though.
All
The
right,
shows were
Josh,
good.
I'm spinning for you.
Oh, okay.
And the topic is general knowledge. Alrighty. Not made for the dumbasses. Oh, God. How many legs does a spider have?
That's really what it says.
Yes,
We're wheeling it.
8.
that is correct.
Okay.
Khan has one.
Yeah, buddy.
Naomi
I was
has
really
one.
thrown off. Like I know that
You were like,
answer.
that's so stupid. Why am I going to answer that question? Oh,
yeah,
wait.
I really thought it was a joke.
Okay. No, that was actually it.
All right, and what's it?
Oh, you want to spin?
Was that for me?
Yeah, it's you.
You can spin.
Red team chooses.
Dun, 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 dun.
Shit.
That means somebody else could choose for you, but it's fine. TV, movies, and music. All right, here we go.
Oh God, here we go.
I got this.
Oh, God. What color is the slime used at the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards?
What?
It's green.
It's green.
Well, I know it's green. He's
buddy.
Wait,
is
is
not
that a
fair.
rule? We have to wait till the
Nope,
question?
nope,
I don't.
nope,
yeah,
just
I mean,
You
like-
really don't? You just like take a chance?
go for it.
Absolutely.
Man, y'all got more balls than I do, like figuratively and
Come on.
literally.
So
What
that's
show
one,
is
two,
that where that you can cut off the person asking the questions and then, it's
Family
Family
Feud.
Feud.
Yeah.
General
General
knowledge.
knowledge. All right, here we go.
Better be
Khan has 2.
spiders.
Naomi has 1.
I need that coffee, y'all.
Which toy company is responsible for manufacturing Barbie?
Oh, Mattel.
You're hitting it too hard. He hit his first.
That's
She
bullshit.
already said the answer though.
What'd you say? What would you say?
Like,
And also, it's gonna be wrong anyway. So
What did
so
you
is the rule
say?
that your buzzer has to go off or
No.
it doesn't count?
No.
You said that last time that the buzzer had to go off, so that's what I was going off of. And Con wasn't here,
Okay,
so
so Naomi, what is your
All right,
answer?
you guys are tied.
Mattel.
You
said
guys are
Mattel.
tied at 2.
bullshit.
that's on the line.
That's nasty. That's nasty.
Motherfucker. Around the world. Here we go.
All I can hear is that song.
Around
the world, around the world.
Okay. What type of building is Notre Dame de Paris?
Oh,
Type of building? It's a cathedral or a church.
That is correct.
That's nasty.
All right.
Isn't that also the one that caught on fire a couple years ago?
It is. Yeah.
Yes.
That was
It was that old
so
hunchback.
sad, man.
It was the Hunchback's fault.
Y'all are wow.
Dad joke.
dead.
Okay, that's 3, 2. All right, so we have 2 more questions.
Ooh, yeah.
Was that you?
It was.
Ooh.
Actually, we really have 1, but I'm gonna do
TV,
2.
movies, and music.
Oh yeah.
TV,
Why?
movie, music.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What is
Wanda.
the name of the fraternity that Pinto and Flounder join in Animal House?
Yeah. Good luck, guys.
I never watched
Have
it.
you seen Animal House?
Yeah, and it's on the tip of my tongue,
Okay.
That's nasty.
but I'm not gonna get it. It's Delta
Isn't it a
something
play on the?
Kappa, because it's supposed to be like Dick or something, right?
That's
Nobody's-
your final answer?
Nobody's got
I
it.
don't have an answer. I didn't buzz. I just.
It's Delta Tau Chi.
So what's that? What does that spell out?
Dit.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It does.
Maybe the symbols, like the Greek
Yeah, that's
symbols.
what I'm saying.
Maybe the
like,
Greek
I think it's supposed
symbols.
to be like Dick or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, nobody got that one.
That was sad.
Yeah.
Alrighty. This one's for all the marbles. If you get it, Con, you tie Naomi. If you lose, then Naomi's the winner.
Ooh.
General knowledge. Here we go. What is the French word for green?
The what?
The French word for green.
El Grino.
No, Josh, that's Mexican.
That's Verde, motherfucker.
Okay,
It's
so
Valverde.
French is also a Latin language, so could be close to Verde,
So
right?
it's Verde in Spanish, and I know Dutch is groen. So
You don't know
that's
any
all I
other
know.
Latin languages?
No.
The answer is vert. Vert. Hey, is that a caller? We forgot to forward the phones.
I don't know who this is. Someone's calling it.
Calling the house phone?
Well, they're calling my phone.
Oh yeah, but did
Go
we
for
we
it.
forward?
Go for
I don't
it.
think we did.
I never unforwarded.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
Let's take him by surprise.
Let's see
We're
what
gonna
happens.
go with it.
Do we have a caller on the line?
Or did they want to sell us insurance
I'm working on it.
or an extended car warranty?
Do we have a caller on the line?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
You are on the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast.
You would call it the end of the game. Who am I speaking to?
This is Clover.
What's up, Clover?
How you been, man?
I'm good, dude. How are you? We're trying to give away
Pretty
some
good.
coffee. We're trying to give away some coffee here. I tell you what, you're the winner because you called in. Congratulations.
What? I want
Am I
to get
the only one
coffee.
that-
You can
I'm
get
literally
coffee
just
too.
got
You
off of work.
can get coffee too. I'll send you some coffee, bro. It'll jack you up. It'll jack you up. It's better than any energy drink you've ever had. I
I
promise.
needed it. I really needed it.
You can get some too.
Yes.
This is what we're gonna do, Clover. We're gonna do one more question, and I'm gonna let you either agree or disagree with the answer that is given. I'm gonna go ahead and spin this wheel one last time. God,
You gotta be better.
general
than
knowledge. So before I ask this question, man, what are your thoughts on the situation in Ukraine?
Honestly, I think Putin's just trying to see what he can get away with.
I
He's
think
getting
that's
away with a lot
legit.
right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens once he.
Yeah, he's getting away with quite a bit. I think it's because everybody's trying to avoid it
The big
getting
one.
way more out of hand than it kind of already is.
Yeah. Let's keep it real though. Do you think that like the most powerful people in the world have like bunkers ready for nuclear war and they're gonna survive it? Because I think they do.
Yes.
Or they're gonna go to space.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised,
Or they're gonna go to space.
but
One
it
of
would
those
also be kind of hilarious if they did and they didn't survive it anyways.
It's true.
Or we get
That's
like
true.
a blast from
That
the
would
past
be-
kind
Or
of thing.
their dungeon only lasted for like 200 years plus a day, and then like it needed to be one day longer that it lasted, and then they all died.
Or like Anonymous just hacks into their security code and changes it.
There
and
you
they
go.
can't get in their bunker on the day of.
I like that.
There
That would
you
just
go.
be glorious.
Yes, it would.
All right, somebody in the world made this game and thinks that this is just general knowledge. I don't know why. Who wrote the original Mr. Men book series?
What the fuck is Mr.
The
Men?
fuck is Mr. Men?
Yeah, let's ask another question.
Isn't that little cartoon with the? I don't know.
You're the
weirdly-
movie. You're the movie buff, man. So you would know if they made a movie
Grab
out of
another
it.
one. Do another one. Ain't nobody know that
Okay,
shit.
what year did the
I
first?
remember it being a cartoon series. I don't
Is it?
remember it being like an actual book.
Okay, do you know who wrote it?
No, honestly not.
All right, guys, this is for Naomi and Chris. What year did the man first land on the moon?
I should know this one.
You should.
You should.
Yeah, listen.
What is it?
I know this one because of Even Stevens. 1960.
68?
Oh, that was so close. Do you agree or disagree that it was 68?
I disagree.
Clover.
Wasn't it 69?
69.
It was 1969.
Fuck, I knew it.
Yeah, we went
69
to
was a
the
good year,
moon
bro.
in 1969. Freaking Even Stevens, man.
It's like one of my favorite
That's
numbers.
nasty.
All right, Clover. I'm glad you called, man. I don't know. Were you able to check out the show earlier? Or are you just now tuned
I
in?
had literally just got to HEB from getting off of work, and I
Gotcha.
just saw it pop up on my recommended and searched. And I was like, wow, it's 9:30 and they're doing a live show, and I was
Hell yeah.
checking it out for a bit. And I was like, you know what, I should go.
We're trying to get those like Twitch numbers. We might just do a show for like 12 hours one day and see what happens. Who knows?
Ooh, a lock-in! A lock-in!
Yeah, podcast lock-in. We'll have like guests just randomly show up. It'll be good.
Do a lock-in. We're like, I could just picture you wired out on coffee by like hour 63.
Yes.
Just like, so we're on the 3-day podcast.
Yes. It will be bourbon caramel cold brew, and that is for sure.
Yes.
All right, buddy, and I'm gonna get you some of that too. I have your information, so you don't have to hold on, man. We're gonna.
I actually need to update. I'll send you my current address.
You have the number on.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, I got your phone number, so I'll call you back, and we'll get all that updated.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
All
man.
right, brother. Appreciate you
Honestly,
calling in. We do the show live
later this year, I ought to come back on your podcast, man.
Yeah, man, you can do that. You can do that. Look, we do live every Thursday, so you can call in at any time, and we'll find a time to get you on the show. Sound good?
All right, man.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling and
Yes,
enjoy the
sir.
coffee. I'll call you back.
All right, man.
10-4. That is the one and only Clover James. He was formerly the So You Think You Can podcast winner. Thanks for calling in, dude. Okay. Is that a light enough note for us to end on, Naomi?
Yes.
Just considering the conversation that we had? Okay. I feel like we treated this subject with
literally-
respect. We went on a couple of tangents.
I tried to withhold any stupid stuff.
I literally blew ass on the show, so that was the lightest moment of the show.
What you
That's
should
true.
have done was put a lighter up to your ass.
Should have.
Blooper reel.
If that
Bro, you don't know how to let him sneak out either. He just let it rumbled. He was like,
You gotta lift up the leg.
if that does not win me a Slapsby award, I'm gonna
real.
be pissed.
He did it for the Slaspies.
I did it, so I better get it. I'm
Oh.
done.
All right, well,
I'm making sure on the audio side, I'm going to amplify the shit out
well,
of that.
I'm gonna do it on the next episode, and then I'm gonna get it.
What you should do, best on-air fart. That's what you do. And second of all, since you're
I
gonna
got that beat.
since you're going to enhance the audio, you should make the screen like jumble up too, like just shake up a little bit.
That's going to be awesome.
You're welcome.
It's going to be awesome.
I aim to please.
Thank you guys who tuned into the live. Thank you, Clover James, for calling. If you are just a listener of this podcast, we appreciate you so much. Hope you're following. We haven't gotten any reviews in a while, so please let us know how we're doing. You can give us 5 stars, hopefully, and leave a comment review. Let us know what you think, how you think we're doing.
Where do you make a review?
You can do it on, if you listen on Apple Podcasts, you can do it there. If you listen on Spotify, I believe they allow you to do that now. Leave us a review on YouTube. Like, tell us if you think we're doing a good job.
Like the video.
Like the video.
And smash the subscribe button.
Smash the subscribe button.
Be
Yeah.
sure to be able to click on the bell icon and
Hit
turn
that
on
bell,
all
y'all.
notifications.
Absolutely.
He's
You've been hanging
watching
out
a
with
lot of
Hannah.
YouTube.
You've been hanging out with Hannah.
That's
No,
Harper's video
I
too.
watch way too much
Don't
video.
forget to hit that bell.
To make sure you're notified.
That's who
for
we
all
need to
our
have on the
videos.
show is Harper and Hannah. We'll let them take over the show one
Yes, I agree.
time. But yeah, thank you guys, everybody. We hope we did this conversation justice. At the end of the day, I was hoping to have a unifying message of, look, like, we're still the United States of America, and I want us to show the world that that's what we are. And it's going to take some swallowing some pride. It's going to take some sacrifice. There is a cost. There is a price for democracy. Right now, Ukraine is teaching us that. It's a very, very high price. And, we have to ask ourselves, would we be ready to pay that price to fight for our democracy? But right now, nobody's attacking us. We don't have to do it. We have the democracy. Let's do everything we can to keep it. All right, so I'm going to get us out of here. This was a great conversation. For my producer, Josh Beard, and my wonderful podcast crew, Christopher Kahn and Naomi Richardson, my name is Nick Stevenson, and we will see you next week.
You've been listening to the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast. For more show content, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to visit SpiritSwagStore.com for everything you need to rep your favorite podcast in style.